Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of international rugby in November. This one is a huge game. England versus New Zealand, two sides that are considered 50-50 heading into this contest. New Zealand, they have had a decent November so far, getting themselves 2 wins from 2. The English, they are coming into this game with quite a winning streak and a point to prove at Twickenham Stadium, a location where they have lost narrowly up against New Zealand just last year. But we have got about 30 minutes before the start of this matchup, and what we will be doing is looking through at these teams, a few stats along the way, and what is to come for these two sides as we head towards that Rugby World Cup draw. But jumping straight into it, the lineup for the English, they have got Finn Baxter, Jamie George and Joe Hayes as the front row. So a lot of experience for Jamie George as the hooker, but not a huge amount for either Baxter or Hayes. They've got some great players off of the bench though, and Ellis Genge and Will Stewart, who we were used to seeing as the starting two for last year. But they have really built upon a strong bench, England, and that is kind of similar to what we're seeing from New Zealand for this matchup at Twickenham as well. Maro Itoje, he comes back into the starting lineup. He did make his way off the bench in the game up against the Fijians. Alex Coles, he slots in as that number 5. Guy Pepper, Sam Underhill and Ben Earl as that loose forward trio. Some great options off of the bench, such as a Chandler Cunning himself. They've got Henry Pollock there as well to be able to bring his own impact into this game. Alex Mitchell and George Ford as that 9 and 10 combination. So the battle in the 10 jersey, Beauden Barrett, George Ford, 2 experienced veteran first fives, and I feel like that's where this game will be won. Whoever makes the better decisions, of course, we know the impact that Cam Roigard can have on this All Black side. Alex Mitchell, he does have a similar role to play for the English here, because if they can get it outside that 9 and 10 channel, they have got some really dangerous players across the rest of the English backline. Fraser Dingwall alongside Ollie Lawrence, who was one of the players I mentioned to keep an eye out for in that 13 jersey. Fiua Bosso out on the left wing, Tom Roebuck out on the right, and then Freddie Stewart at 15. With the selection of Stewart and Ford, you would think we're going to see a little bit more of a kicking-orientated game from the English, at least early on, until they start making those changes and the players come off the bench. But for New Zealand, they have made 3 changes to their starting lineup compared to the one that we did see get the victory over Scotland last week. Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor and Fletcher Null, they all keep their spots in the starting front row. Scott Barrett, he returns from his leg laceration that he suffered up against Ireland. He partners with Fabian Holland in the locking duo. Simon Parker returns at 6, so Satiti pushed to the bench for a little bit more impact late up against England's 6-2 split that they've selected in this contest. Artie Savia back to vice-captain as the 7, and Peter Larkai closes out the 4-pack. He will be the number 8. Cam Roigard and Beauden Barrett, that is the duo that we have seen for both matches in November thus far, up against the Irish as well as Scotland. And still Damien McKenzie, he is the impact player off of the bench. Quinton Byer and Billy Proctor make up the midfield. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't believe this is a combination we have seen start for the All Blacks as of yet. Billy Proctor, he is under immense pressure because of a bit of a lackluster rugby championship, but now gets that opportunity to prove that he can partner well with Quinton Byer in the centre pairing in the absence of Geordie Barrett. Lester Whaiananuku, he is out on the left wing, moving from 13 last week. Leroy Carter out on the right, and Will Jordan, he is the number 15. We have got a whole heap of messages already coming through, ladies and gents. It is greatly appreciated you all being here. And we have got there, good luck to the AB, says Matsu. And then I can't see New Zealand running away with this game unless England capitulate. Hopefully it's going to be a close one, says George. Yeah, I can see it going right down to the wire. I'd be very surprised if either of these sides won by 7 or more. And actually the last time these two sides were split by 7 or more was actually the Rugby World Cup semi-final in 2019. Every other time since then, they have been close, including a draw in 2022, 25-25. And that was at this location. I don't think England have it, hey, says Session there. And also, what are your thoughts on the bot game? It was one of the worst games this year that we have watched of international rugby. It was full of controversy, full of stop-start. The Springboks did extremely well to get themselves the win by a big of a margin as they did, because it just seemed like the game had no wind in the sails whatsoever, but still showing how classy of a side they are to be able to win in that kind of fashion. We have got there, good morning, number 1. Comment, you are the best. Let's go the All Blacks, says Ron in there. And also we get there, Peter Larkai and Holland alone, bro, says Sash in there. And well, Peter Larkai, he slotted into that number 8 jersey very nicely at the moment for New Zealand. He's a young player with a ton of talent. In fact, they are probably, I would say there's probably 5 players who can slot into that kind of description in this 4-pack at this point in time. A couple of them are making their way off the bench a little bit later on. Dingwall decision-making has been poor. He's not quite there yet, says Jimbo, and Kiwis for the win, says Moses. And after a horrible game, at least our box came back. And now to watch the AB smash England, says Gary there. And when's kickoff? The kickoff for this game, Imperial, will be starting in 25 minutes' time. So we are not a mile away from the start of this contest. Best commentator in the world. Come on, the ABs. Make it a test of the year from a Kiwi in the UK, says Bacon there as well. And we have got there, hey H, says Gary, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. And also, let's go the ABs for the win, says Brett. And don't stress this weekend. Springbok will win with 10 men, says Dion. That wasn't as bad as the Ireland versus New Zealand game, says Samuel. That would be a good debate to have, really, because I think that both of those games were awful, weren't they, unfortunately? And both of them were, I'd say that the South Africa-Italy game was more heavily affected by referees, even though we saw the card for Tyke Byrne early. Still single, H? I am indeed. Very single at this point in time. We have got the Hi Hamish still with you. Which stadium are they playing at, and what's the weather like? So they are playing at Twickenham Stadium for this contest. And at this stage, weather, we haven't quite seen it yet, just because they are showing it from the studio rather than out the back. This is the saddest part of the week. 7 full games till the next box game. And how much can you bench? England and New Zealand, yes, says Tim. And I guess while we are at it, we might as well look through at the benches that these two sides have selected for England. They have got the POM squad, as they have labelled it, the 6-2 split here for the English. Luke Cowan, Dickey, Alice Genge, and Will Stewart. They will be the front row replacement. That is a pretty formidable front row reserves kind of lineup to bring onto the field. New Zealand not looking too bad themselves. A lot of size across both front row replacements for this contest. Chandler Cunningham himself alongside Tom Curry and Henry Pollock. Some great jacklers in there for the English, making their way off of the bench here. Ben Spencer and also the dangerous Marcus Smith. He will slot in as that number 23. For New Zealand, they have got Samisoni Taukiaho, Tamaiti Williams, and Pasilio Tosi. So that is a trio that we have seen New Zealand use quite a bit throughout this year. It seems to be something that Robertson wants to use in the future as well. Perhaps it would be the starting 3 up against the Welsh. We have no idea. It all depends on how New Zealand, of course, go in this match. Josh Lord and Wallace Satiti both bringing their own impact throughout 2025, mainly in the November internationals, with Cortez Ratama, Anton Leonard-Brown. He was the curveball of the whole lineup. For myself, I thought that they may look at Rico Ioane for that versatility of being able to play in the midfield as well as out on the wing, but instead going with Leonard-Brown and then Damian McKenzie. He will be the number 23. Whether or not he has to have a game-changing, game-saving performance off of the bench here, we will soon know for him as well. We have got their Lord starting, says NZCTC. So who is that for? Is that for Fabian Holland or is that for Scott Barrett? Yes, Holland's out, says Matsu there. So that is a late change for the Kiwis. Who is making their way off the bench? I assume it's Sam Derry then, who would be that number 19. I thought it should have started at 4:40. So yeah, will be a 5:10 kickoff, I guess it is, for you guys in South Africa. But yeah, it's 2.5 hours between each of the kickoffs is normally what they try and work on. Left on the wing is good. Holland is sick, says NZCTC, and losing Holland is a big blow, an absolutely huge blow for them. And why is Holland out? By the sounds of it, sickness at this stage, but I haven't actually heard the commentary as of yet. We have got it on mute at the moment as they get ready for this matchup. Currently 21 minutes away. Your thoughts on the ref and the bot game? It was a pretty poor showing against both sides. I do think that both sides probably feel like they were hard done by in that match. I know that one team will be more vocal about it, mainly because I don't speak Italian, but yeah, it's one of those ones that was just poor across the board. Unfortunately, that's an empty grounds for 20 minutes to kick off. Says it was there from, where'd that go? There was Imperial. And let's hope the ref does not spoil the game. And what happened to Dalton Papali'i? He was with the All Blacks 15. I'm not sure if he's playing up against Uruguay. But they did announce their side recently, the All Blacks 15, for that game. I think Rico and Robinson are having a lover's tiff, CSI. You lost 10,000 Rand. Casper, next match, another 20k. Poof gone, says Brett. In there. And say Cowan Dickey fast 3 times, says Ruby. England bench is monster, but the ABs will be out of sight by then, says Jimbo. Yeah, it's such an intriguing last 20 minutes. Undefeated at Twickenham in 2025, 5 from 5 for the English. They have had a brilliant year so far. They got themselves second in the Six Nations, just 1 point behind the French, who they were able to beat at Twickenham Stadium by a narrow margin. They did lose to Ireland, though, in the opening contest of the Six Nations, I believe about 27-22, and that is the one that hurt them and meant that they weren't able to go on and win the competition. But what we will show is the Six Nations fixtures for the English. There we go, 27-22, narrow victory over France at the Stade France or at Twickenham Stadium, then also beating Scotland by a narrow margin, beating the Italians, and then also having the big win up against the Welsh away from home. But for the July internationals, and these were the last time that we saw England in action before November, they were able to get themselves the 2 wins over the Argentines in Argentina. That was a strong statement made by the English experimental side due to them missing their British and Irish Lions, and then a big win over the USA, 40 points to 5. So at this point in time of the year, they were sitting 1 loss, and that was just up against the Irish in the first game. From there, 4 wins throughout the Six Nations, and then also 3 wins throughout July. That took them up to the 7-match winning streak, and then 2 more wins on top of that. England versus Australia, it was close at half-time, 10 points to 7 from there. England, they were able to run away with it, and then their game up against the Fijians, 38 points to 18. It was not so close once the English started finding their rhythm. So that seems to be their trend, that later on in the games, that is when England are thriving. And that is what makes this game so intriguing, because New Zealand have started getting better with their closing moments of a game as well. So I feel like this one will be no different. But this game would be 10 wins in a row for England if they were able to get over the line here. So it would be an absolutely massive one for the English. For New Zealand, they were able to have themselves the 2 wins so far in November, 26 points to 13, the win over the Irish, and 25-17, the win over Scotland just last week. That was a close game, and Scotland at times looked like they were on the box seat to go on to win that contest, but New Zealand had to dig deep, and they found a way, particularly through one man, Damian McKenzie. He was the game changer off of the bench, and they are going to need a couple of those game changers in this match up against England here as well. We have got their jokes. England are really good. Says Session there, and also we have got their line out for the ABs, Mike Creek without Holland. Although Josh Law was doing very nicely in the last match, I should mention as well for the Kiwis. But him and Scott Barrett, it's a bit of a different combo that we haven't seen a huge amount of. It's just a live stream where the rest of the former colonies come to insult the English. Says Arno, and lovely to see Hamish much better this week. Says Ruth, yeah, I am feeling tons better than we were last weekend, where we were sneezing and coughing and all sorts all throughout the stream. But 14 degrees Celsius is the anticipated temperature, and 8 kilometres of wind. So a good day for some rugby up in England. I got a feeling the ABs are about to launch themselves back up to where they belong for this game, says Ruby. Well, the thing is, if the All Blacks were to lose this contest, we will go into the world rankings. It would take a massive hit to the AB's rankings overall. So we'll get that world rankings calculator out. See what this game would do to the side. 2 Barretts this week. Says Sakabula, glad D-Max on. Says Snoozing. So yeah, he's going to be making his way off of the bench in this contest. So at this point in time, if England were to beat New Zealand by 1 point or anything more, England would move up into, I believe they'd move to 3rd in the overall rankings. They would go ahead of the Irish, who still have to play Australia a little bit later on. Your last week I read no sneezes, but you're okay today. Says Mashihu there. Leroy Carter to get the first try. Says Sashin there too. And I will mention, if England were to win this game by a big margin, they would get an extra 0.5 on the standings, and that would put them only 0.21 behind New Zealand heading into next week. So that could make it very close. Whereas if New Zealand were able to get themselves the win here by, first of all, less than 15, it would mean that they gain 0.94, and then France versus Fiji would almost give France enough points to actually go above the English, and they would drop to 5th in the overall standings. So no matter what, England are the mover. If they win, they go up to 3rd. If they lose, they go down to 5th. If New Zealand win this game by 15 or more, England already dropped to 5th without France even playing. Go the All Blacks, says Naz Williams there, and let's hope this game is a bit more fluent than the match we just had. I don't think that's going to be hard to do, because that last match was so stop-start. It went for a good 2 hours or so in that match as well. So yeah, hopefully this game is a lot more smoother, and we get some great running rugby between these two sides. Both are more than capable of playing it, so you wonder whether or not tactically we're going to see both sides maybe go into their shell a little bit here. Not go for anything too substantial or crazy. And nice to see you, says Linky. It is great to see you too. Well, at least to see your name, I should say. And Go Time says the RA underdog pick. And come on, the ABs play smart and enjoy the game. Says John there. Who do you predict winning? Now, this is controversial, I should say, but I actually said England by 2 points. And I'm a bit worried because if that does happen, I'm getting deported. And I will need somewhere to stay in a different country. So if anyone's got accommodation going, of course, let me know. Now, my predictions are normally awful. So I might be completely wrong. In that case, it would mean that I get to stay in New Zealand. When does Australia play? They're going to be playing at 9 a.m. New Zealand time. Good commentary in the last game. By the way, well done, mate. Says Andrew. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Thanks for that ratings analysis, Hamish. Much easier than me trying to do it, says Ruby. And how are we going to play the Italian ref, says Ronnie. I think that it's just a case of pretty much playing it by ear for these two sides. The last thing that they want to do is go anything too crazy. And they will learn very quickly what is being penalised and what is not. So you have to make your decision choices early on in this game as to how aggressive you want to be in those breakdowns and whatnot. We have got there who's Mrs. Controversial. Currently, there is no Mrs. Controversial. It's probably controversial that there's no Mrs. Controversial. Nice to see you looking good. See Linky there. What time is kickoff? The kickoff for this game is in 14 minutes' time. So we're actually very close to the start of this match. It's been flying by today, but aren't you very impressed by South Africa? I am impressed with the way that they fought back once again after a red card. It's 2 weeks in a row now that we've seen the number 5 get taken off the field, and Mostert more than likely will receive that same ban that we saw from Ludiache, even though it didn't even look like a red card. We're going to see the match. It's available on Sky, Stan, Supersport, and also a couple options in the UK as well. What did you think about Fiji versus England last week? I thought Fiji were competitive early, but then England started controlling the game. And I do think that that is something that they will try and do here up against New Zealand. Maybe we see the Kiwis go firing out of the gates quickly, but then from there, England with their bench as well, that 6-2 physical split that they have got for themselves, I just feel like they're going to be very competitive throughout that last 20 or so minutes, and it's exactly what they did up against the Australians as well. They were able to wear down the Wallabies and then kind of reap those rewards later on. What a game back in Italy. Hope this game is similar, says Elma. And also New Zealand to win by 3. Remember this, says Destroying Dumb People there. And also Fiji, says DJ in there. And of course the Fijians, they are going to be playing up against France just a little bit later on in the day. I am going to be covering that one on the channel. We have got Tim from Rugby Itch who will be doing the match between Ireland and Australia. So you guys will have an option of watching either one, the other, or both in that scenario. But what we will do now is we will look through at the International Rugby Weekend last week. New Zealand, they were able to get themselves the win over Scotland, 25 points to 17. For the English, they were able to beat Fiji by the 20 points, 38-18. A lot of other results taking place. We saw New Zealand 15 take on England A, and a good win for the Kiwis in that match, 31-14 there. But only one side who was an official international game was able to bring up 50 points, and that was Argentina. So whether or not we get another big win for one of these sides today, we can try and push the Argentines. I think Argentina-Scotland, though, that could be match of the weekend. If this one doesn't quite deliver, that game certainly will. So be sure to check that out tomorrow. We will also be covering that matchup tomorrow. Of course, there is more rugby, but next week there is even more. We get to see Wales versus New Zealand, Ireland versus South Africa, which is a huge game of rugby there. France, Australia, and then also Scotland, Tonga, England, Argentina. Those are all the games I am planning on covering. And then Wales versus South Africa. That is the week after. And that one will be alongside URC, Sevens, and all that good stuff happening in the rugby world. We have got there Argentina crushed Scotland, no shot. And also we have got there down 14 didn't work, down 13 didn't work. Next week I bet it's 12 men. Says Gary, my favourite my favourite rivalry is South Africa versus World Rugby. And also England doesn't have glaring weaknesses. How can the ABs win? Says Eugene. I think that the All Blacks have to take little parts of what they've been able to do throughout this year and kind of implement them all into one game plan. They can't kick the ball away. We learned from that game, Italy versus South Africa, when Italy were just grubbering that ball away from themselves. That was when they were just giving up possession that they really needed throughout that game. I would say that for New Zealand, their bench, they've been relatively strong throughout the last kind of 2 or so matches, or more so that first match up against the Irish, though. So they need to expand upon that. But it's just get that back line firing. Use it in the midfield. Quintupai, Billy Proctor. Billy Proctor, for me, this is his make or break game. A lot of people have already said he's had his chances, but I disagree. He hasn't had a chance with Quintupai in that midfield, and sometimes it is just about finding that perfect combination. We see there in the odds, 51% have backed New Zealand to win in the poll that they just showed, 48% for the English, and a couple for the draw. So it's expected to be extremely close between these two sides. I support New Zealand, but England is up the top, or on the top, or on the up, sorry, that was. Is Holland injured? He is not injured, but he is sick, so he is missing from this game in the starting lineup. Instead, we are going to see Josh Lord get that opportunity to start at 5 with more than likely, I believe it is Sam Derry, making his way off of the bench. And can't predict a winner between Scotland and Argentina. Going to be a crazy game. I hope so. Hope it is an outstanding contest between the two sides. Looks like an overcast game in England, but rain not anticipated for this match, but that does not mean that there won't be some. What time is it? I don't quite trust my laptop, says Tanner. So at the moment, 9 minutes away from the start of this contest, but 4:01 here in New Zealand. And we have good there. I broke the dam. Says cool story. And man of the match was the TMO, the ref. Was close runner-up. Players had no chance of winning anything, says so. And also we have that South African here, but hope New Zealand can do this up the South, says some ugly nerd. Yeah, at this stage for the South, 1-0 at this point in time. South Africa getting the win over the Italians. Of course, we are going to get to see Australia and Argentina in action a bit later on. Earlier, of course, will be the Aussies. They are kicking off in only 5 hours for their match. And North Island, Uber Allies, I should say, from sister. But now, both sides in the tunnel. Scott Barrett, the All Blacks captain, leading his side out. Maro Itoje at the front for the English side. We are getting close to the kickoff now, only the 9 minutes away. Do let me know your score predictions for this game if you haven't already. And also, be sure to let me know who you think will be scoring the first try in this contest. Whether drier than Italy, says DG, and Wales is a pity. Such a great history mucked up. My high school team will beat them. Problem funding, I don't think so, says Almar. And you must be the only Kiwi that wears a tie at 4 a.m, says Ruby. Yeah, I'm not sure whether or not there's too many Kiwis who will be dressed up for this contest. Of course, there will be quite a few Kiwis up for this game, though, as it is an absolutely massive one. We have got there, Scott looks nervous, says Alumi. I think all the All Blacks will be nervous for this game. At the end of the day, you're at Twickenham, which is labelled as the home of rugby. Yes, they've got a new name of Allianz Stadium, but every stadium nowadays is called Allianz. We have got there, I definitely would be on the piss now, I think that is, from sister there. And also 21-17, All Blacks with the win, says Ron for his prediction, and Pollard had no game time, says Angie. And I'm in my gym jams, says Novmum there as well. But looking through at these starting lineups as we hear the national anthems and get ready to go for this 80 minutes of hopefully very entertaining rugby. Finn Baxter, Jamie George and Joe Hayes, they will be the front row. They have got plenty of reinforcements off the bench here. England with the options of Luke Cowan, Dickey, Alice Genge and also Will Stewart as that number 18. Maro Itoje back in the starting lineup after the bench position for him in the last game up against Fiji. Alex Coles keeps his spot as the number 5. Guy Pepper, Sam Underhill, and Ben Earl. They are the loose ball trio. Ben Earl is normally a pivotal member of this English fullback. He kind of sets the benchmark as well around the world when it comes to that number 8 jersey and one of the top 5 best in that one. Alex Mitchell, George Ford, they will be the 9 and 10 combination for this game. George Ford, he will slot over kicks every day of the week and twice on a Saturday. It's Sunday here in New Zealand though. So who knows if that will play a factor. Fraser Dingwall and Ollie Lawrence, they are the midfield combination. Fiua Bose out on the left wing. Tom Roebuck out on the right. And Freddie Stewart slots in as that number 15. Now, the New Zealand national anthem just being sung now. But this is the New Zealand starting lineup with the late change. No Fabian Holland in the number 5 jersey. Instead, it is Josh Lord who does get himself the starting opportunity. Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor and Fletcher Null, the same front rowers we have seen all throughout November, is what they have gone with for this match up against England. Scott Barrett also returning from his injury up against the Irish to partner with Josh Lord now as their locking duo. Simon Parker, he returns to the starting lineup. Wallace Atiti moved back to the bench for this match. Artie Savia, co-captain for this game, and also Peter Larkai there as that number 8. Cam Roigard, he is such an X-Factor player. I saw someone say about how Cam Roigard, when he plays under the Razor era, they've got about a 90% win rate, so that is great news if you are Cam Roigard and also Bowden Barrett. He has played many games at Twickenham throughout his career to play last year up against the English in that narrow victory, but Quintupai and Billy Proctor, they make up the midfield in this game. Proctor's big chance to show what he can do alongside a different inside centre. Leicester Whainānuku, he moves out to the left wing side. Leroy Carter's on the right and Will Jordan as that number 15. So that is the starting lineup for both of these sides, ladies and gentlemen. We have got David has become a member. Greatly appreciate you now have access to those emojis, so be sure to use them. Jamie George ate all of the cake. See his sister there. Well, he has certainly got all of the caps in that front row at this point in time. A huge amount of experience for that man. I just want to say the info you provide, pre-game and match commentary, better than any TV channel. Good job, says Andrew. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. Underhill can play, won't lie. Yeah, great work in the breakdown, I would say, is what we're going to be expecting from this English loose forward trio. With Proctor and Barrett brothers playing, I think England will win by 9. Says DB. What an ugly bunch. Says Eric J. I assume you're talking about the All Blacks lineup in there. No Fabian Holland. Yeah, late sickness does rule him out of this contest. Off topic, watch the South Africa versus India test match, which started 2 days ago. Pissed me off so much. The next time India tours here, South Africa should also curate minefield pitches. Says Arno. And thanks as always for your podcast, says Glenn in there as well. And just correct the fixture for last week. And not Sunday 30th as shown. So it was Sunday 30th for us here in New Zealand. So that is what it is. Same with this game. You could argue that it's played on the 15th in England, but because of it being the 16th here in New Zealand, it's just based off the New Zealand time zone. And we have got there Quinta first try, says Zion there, and hardly seat in the choir, says Elmer. Ben Earl's been, or the best I've seen, says Sister, but God's save the King has come to a close, which means we are close to the start of this contest, Bok fans, but I've been waiting for this one all day, says Suran, and G says the A fam, and there too. Yeah, let me know, everyone who hasn't already, who's the player who's scoring the first try in this contest. I'm thinking it's going to be an 11. Leicester Whainānuku or Emmanuel Fiawa-Boso. Sounds like a school choir singing England's anthem, and also All Blacks all the way, says Gary there. Okay, Justin Marshall just saying from pitch side, they are definitely feeling the atmosphere, and England simply the worst. Says Martin there, have to leave in a hurry. What was the score? South Africa versus Italy, please. So the end score was 32-14 in favour of South Africa. A lot of controversy around that game, including the very last kick of the day, not actually going over because of a timeout. Jordan, Maro Itoje first try. And there, if you thought we was going to be 9, sorry, Sarah's sitting in an empty Principality Stadium. Says Glenn there. But yeah, it is all New Zealand time zones, which can get confusing because I guess currently 4:10 a.m. Oh, the English doing what they did in that Rugby World Cup game, and they are making the arrowhead. Setting up in triangle formation in front of the Kiwis. The crowd absolutely love that one too. The only thing that is missing for the English is Owen Farrell's smiling face. And we have got their first try to Carter, says Marcus, and the crowd are singing over the Haka. They are doing the English chants. The All Blacks not looking fazed by it. This will be fire. England are gearing up for their own version of the Haka. Says so. Henry Pollock at the moment, he is smiling. He is licking his lips seductively at the All Blacks, I think is the only way to describe what he was doing there. But the All Blacks continuing the Haka here. Now we have got their theatre, gotta love it, says Lyle, and I love the Haka, says Salah. Marcus Smith with a nod and a little bit of that smirk of Farrell too. And use it AB, says Suran there. The All Blacks heading towards their halfway line as well. These two sides are going to go nose to nose here. In fact, the All Blacks, they've set up a different formation. That almost looked like they were trying to do a silver fern from above. And Scouser says Eric J. But the standoff there is tension out there on the park at the moment between these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. I'm predicting Roygaard for the first try. Underhill is scary. Says Sister there. They are just talking about Henry Pollock. And there's a licking his lips throughout the Haka. And Hera's hoping for a better game. Go the ABs, beat these bombs. Says Matsu there, but they are just showing the starting lineups again. Some great talent across both of these teams. This game's going to be absolutely electric from the very first kickoff. Looks okay. That cool formation, says Sasha, or Sashin. Yeah, I'd love to see it from above. I feel like it was some sort of fern or something was what they were going for there, the All Blacks. And Kevin Milamu's Haka was louder than those English chants. And speaking of the Italia-South Africa game, or Italy versus South Africa, I'll be extremely surprised if Mostert gets a ban. I think he'll get a ban just because they'll try and stay consistent. If they rescind it, then they show that they were wrong, and that's something that they don't like to do. Josh Lord in for Holland. He is indeed in that number 5 jersey with Sam Derry making his way off of the bench. Henry Pollock has big talent. He certainly does, and he will be fresh in the later stages of this match up against New Zealand. And it looked like a Fern says the AI underdog pick in there as well. And it's a shame Arundel's not playing. Yeah, they have got Tom Roebuck out on one wing. They've got Emmanuel Fio-Arboso off the other. And I feel like we're going to see the high ball bombarded throughout this match. Karina said hi. Oh, kia ora from London. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Are we going to see the play? I can't look at that time much longer, says David. Well, sadly, you will have to because we are just doing the play-by-play commentary similar to the radio style because it's illegal to show any match footage. So we are doing the play-by-play rather than the showing. But you can catch it on Sky Sports, Stan Sports, Super Sport. I believe it's on Sky in the UK as well. Come on, Southern Hemisphere, says Stormers. And the All Blacks in there as well. But now New Zealand, they will be kicking off this one from right to left. The nerves have got to be very, very heavy for these two sides. Andrea Piardi, one of the chattier referees around, he will be there in charge of this match. And game for the ages about to be on. Come on. Says Aheno there for the English he's going for in this contest. So no Southern Hemisphere alliance for that man. He is going full on north for this matchup. And now Beauden Barrett ready to kick this one off for New Zealand. Barrett gets us underway for this game at a sold-out Twickenham Stadium by the looks of it, taken by Alex Mitchell. And he will boot this one downfield and into touch. Decent clearing kick from inside of his own 22. Lawrence won't be able to hold the midfield together. Says Sashin. Yeah, there's absolutely no denying, though, when Ollie Lawrence starts attacking, you certainly know about it. No, I'm a South African for England. Says Brenton there. And also we have got there, Mitchell was weird looking, says Sakabalua. You can't hold that against him. Cody Taylor throws it in, nicely taken by Josh Lord for his first successful line-out. He is in the starting lineup of the sickness of Fabian Holland. That was the score for the Box versus Italy, 32-14 in favour of the Box. Another red card for the South Africans. Show them, brothers, show them. Says Linky now going short side. Artie Savia plays half, goes to Peter Larkai. Leroy Carter playing half back there again and goes off to Artie Savia, one of the two vice-captains for this matchup. Always enjoyed the Haka. The pretty English just ruined it. Says TG Mac. I mean, you are allowed to answer the Haka, and that is exactly what the English did. They are fired up. The All Blacks, they will be more fired up because of it. I feel like it's that kind of pre-match mind games that can make or break sides, and these two sides are up for the battle out there on Twickenham Stadium. But now, Peter Larkai round the halfway line. Beauden Barrett passes across to Will Jordan, who finds Leicester. Faina Nuku trying to break through Freddie Stewart. Drop ball from Leicester. Had a few of those last week as well, but it has gone in the hands of England, who will now have themselves the ball in hand just inside of their own half. We have got the ABs have more weapons. Says Andrew. This is good, Yanko. Says Danielle there now rolling this one back for Alex Mitchell. So that kick has gone downfield, which will mean that the advantage for the knock-on is over. Goes back to Peter Larkai. Go the AB says Lyle there. Be nice to South Africa. Says good story. And there too now. Beauden Barrett goes back across to Quinn Tupai. He almost shaped for a kick there, but not really known for his kicking abilities, Tupai. Big shots. Yeah, there's going to be some huge hits early on between these two sides. Scott Barrett now colliding with Guy Porter. Cam Roygaard going off the left boot, kicking downfield. England retreating to be able to take it nicely under the high ball was Freddie Stewart. He will return a kick of his own up and under towards the halfway line. Roygaard looking for it, but beautiful take from Freddie Stewart. That is one of the big reasons he is out there on the field for England, is that high ball ability. Now quick hands. Ollie Lawrence tries to fend but gets tackled by Savia. 40 metres out from the line for the English on the far side of the field. Emmanuel Fio-Arboso cutting back in, gets round two. 30 metres out. Mitchell goes to Ben Earl, such a dangerous ball runner, but he's shut down early by Cody Taylor. Mitchell again, going right hand side. George Ford, skip pass, quick hands from Stewart. Gets it now to Roebuck, cutting back in, tackle by Proctor. 10 metres out, Mitchell, short ball to Underhill. They're in a good position on the field at the moment. The English 8 bases in for their first real attack and set inside of the 22. George Ford going for the kick in behind. Awkward bouncing ball forced down by Leroy Carter. And they'll go back for the goal line dropout. England has a good bench. They certainly do. I think that they've got I would say one of the stronger benches around just for this round of the November internationals. That 6-2 split with Chandler Cunning himself, Tom Curry, Henry Pollock, Marcus Smith, Ellis Genge, Will Stewart. The list goes on. The only two that I didn't say were Luke Cowan-Dickie, and also the replacement lock in this. Oh no, replacement lock is Chandler Cunning himself. I didn't say Ben Spencer was the other guy. Looking like a drop kick. No, instead going high. With this kick from England, 4 minutes into the contest, New Zealand will be tested under the high ball. Beauden Barrett drops it. Leroy Carter, though, breaking through one challenge and trying to step through the second before he's smashed in the collision by Joe Hayes. High ball, says Lyle. It is something that New Zealand have struggled with all throughout the year. And that is a good clearing kick from Beauden Barrett, about 25 metres out from the line. England have got themselves the line out, but this has been a quick fire start from the English. They're talking about it. George Ford, plenty of time to be able to line up that high kick, put the pressure on Beauden Barrett, and he was certainly feeling it from the start there, Beauden. And now George Ford crossed there, Dingwall with the short pass to Ben Earl after the successful line out from England, right in the middle of the field, 25 out from the New Zealand line. George Ford goes to Emmanuel Fiua-Boso, tackled by his opposite number, Whainanoku. Now back across Mitchell, big collision there on Alex Coles by Simon Parker. He's known for putting in a few dominant tackles. George Ford tried to sneak through, but he's tackled by Lord. Now two-man tackle on Finn Baxter, Fletcher Null and Cody Taylor. Now Dingwall, beautiful sell, gets it back on the outside. It's a loose ball. It's knocked on by England, but Dingwall cut a gap in the New Zealand defence, got his offload away, and then it was just that next pass that didn't quite link up, but nice sell at a dummy from Dingwall. Then from there, Sam Underhill tried to flick it out, going to Ollie Lawrence, and it just goes down. It was a great last-ditch tackle by Billy Proctor, put the pressure on Underhill there. And this commentary is like sex, but forbidden to come, says sister. That's quite the saying. I think thank you. Maybe. Will Jordan first drive for the ABs, and an error, says Danielle. England showing why they are a second-tier team. Well, they're currently on a 9-match winning streak, looking to make it 10 for this game at Twickenham Stadium. Throughout that 10-match winning streak, they have beaten Argentina twice. They have beaten the French. They've beaten Scotland. They've beaten Wales. They've beaten Italy. They've also beaten the USA, Fiji, and Australia. I think that was every single one. And scrum time, says Sashin, and the ball is retained at scrum by New Zealand, about 20 metres out from their line. Larkai getting some good post-contact metres, putting them in a position where they can now look for this kick downfield. So no good teams, says Hamish. And they're in second-rate winning streak, says Tame there. That one's gone into touch. Does Freddie Stewart want to take it quickly? He says no. In the end, and it's a very good exit from their own 22 for New Zealand. Cam Roygar, 12 tries in his 16 tests, has one of the best clinical try-scoring rates of any player around the world. We have got there also, where did you guys find Larkai? I feel like 3 years ago he wasn't in the picture, so he did come from the under-20 setup for New Zealand. From there, he has had very limited game time for the Hurricanes, mainly because of the fact that he was always the protege to Artie Savia. And when you're trying to take minutes from Savia, it just doesn't happen. So the fact that he can also offer that versatility of playing anywhere in the loose forward trio, particularly the backup of number 8, it means that he gets chances this season anyway. We have got there, did England do their haka? They did a standoff to the haka. They shaped up in an arrow, and the crowd were chanting throughout. Now, step from Freddie Stewart, 45 metres out from the line at the moment. England, it looks like an injury here for Billy Proctor. He has stayed down. They've got Leonard Brown off the bench, but they won't want to use him this early. A big run from Emmanuel Fiua-Boso. Moves up to 25 metres out from the All Blacks line. Now trying to get the steal and ripping it away was Artie Savia. Gets himself the penalty advantage, and he gets the penalty anyway. I'm from South Africa and root for the AB, says Pierre. And also we have there, do you expect high or low scoring game? I'm thinking mid-20s for both of these sides. There'll be a bit of a feeling out process early on. Proctor not looking good. Yeah, whatever happened to Billy Proctor, he has stayed down for a bit of time. Can your daddy ride a bell? What does that mean? I have no idea what that means. Is that like a bike? Like a bike with a bell? Is that the saying? You've got there, I read that one. Sneaky AB's trick, says Sashin there. And down with Proctor, says Graggle. Okay, they're waiting for an update here. It is a helicopter. Okay, my dad I don't even know if he's been in a helicopter. Is that the question? I'm confused by the daddy part of that. We have got there. Did you wake up at 4 a.m. and put on a shirt and tie? Although we have been up for that last game, South Africa versus Italy as well. So to answer your question, I woke up at midnight and put on the suit and tie. For this one, Cam Roygaard now kicking it up high. Billy Proctor looks like he will be continuing in this game. Freddie Stewart wins the aerial challenge again, but Quinn Tupaia chasing after it. Ben Earl, bit of a slip for him. Just the 5 metres out from the English line. This is as far inside of their own territory as they have been throughout the first 9 minutes of this match. He got injured just to get a helicopter ride. So here's Tame there. Now England looking to go 1 or 2 more phases before they get ready to kick this one towards the sideline. Looks like this time Mitchell will roll it back from England, supporting the All Blacks' greatest team in history. Says Ben George. And thank you for waking up at midnight. No worries at all. We're going to be doing it again tomorrow as well for that Scotland versus Argentina match. Kicked in a touch by Mitchell. Again, a very good exit from the English 9. And that can make such a big difference when the opposition are having lineouts from, let's say, 40 plus metres out rather than being just outside of your 22. You've got all those extra metres to work with defensively. But it also does leave you susceptible to a little kicking behind that the All Blacks may consider doing, definitely with Beauden Barrett at the helm here, but that one's going to be thrown in, nicely taken by Josh Lord, goes to Roygaard, now Beauden Barrett finds Tupaia, tries to break through the tackle attempt to George Ford, but slow getting back up to his feet there is Sam Underhill. We'll keep a close eye on that man as well. Best live YouTube commentator, thank you to you and your crew, says Expert, thank you very much, greatly appreciated. Now Roygaard goes to Peter Larkhart, rush defence there from Maro Itoje, but he still managed to get the pass away to Fletcher. No, now Will Jordan stepping around the rush defence of Guy Porter. Savia, pick and go, running straight at Maro Itoje. Both sides defensively so far have looked pretty strong. Now loose ball, picked up by New Zealand and Simon Parker around the halfway line. Oh, that's hit on the wrong side for Guy Porter, but he bounces back. Now Roygaard, sniping run round the side of the breakdown. Thought about offloading that one too. Will Jordan pick and go. It seems like New Zealand at the moment just trying to find their structure again after a few quick fire little mistakes in the breakdown. Looked like Porter almost had that one. He's been everywhere in the last 2 minutes. You're all great company, says Danielle. Are you trying to get a job at the NZRU with the new look? Says Tame there. Oh, I don't think they'd hire me. I told the referee to piss off in the last game, so that probably gets me taken out of the equation. Now Quinn Tupaia looking for the offload, goes to Beauden Barrett. Off to his brother Scott, offload to Peter Larkhart. Low chopping tackle made from Ollie Lawrence. Not sure how many arms were involved in that one, but Roygaard again just inside of the half. 10 phases for New Zealand. Fine Anuku, no look pass. Proctor gets in a good fend. He was under a huge amount of pressure and decides that the best option is to kick this one downfield, which I think is probably a pretty decent choice. Oh, charged down by Billy Proctor. And Faina Nuku jumping on the ball. Another risky offload, but Savia claims it now. Roygaard goes to Beauden Barrett. He's looking for a kick in behind. It won't be a 50-22, but it will be a good territory gain for the Kiwis. What has been a seesaw start to this matchup. Larkai got grass cut, says Sashin there. And also, why can we expect streakers at these matches? Always good to see the tackle swaying, says Tame. And All Blacks hurry up and win, says Martin. They've still got a little bit of time remaining. Still another 68 minutes to try and get something going. But it has been eventful for the first 10 minutes of this contest or so. And I feel like it's going to be no different for the other 68. We have got their wise Josh Lord on the field already. Did Barrett get injured? No. So Fabian Holland out late with sickness is why Josh Lord is out there. It's ball stolen at line out time by Scott Barrett. Looked like knocked on by Maro Itoje. Referee says play on. No, they've spotted it now. And it will be a scrum beat now for the All Blacks. We have got there England, kiss your 9 winning streak to end, says Martin. I went to school with Proctor, says sister. And Hamish, the All Blacks have no idea this England team was going to start like this. How come though? Because I feel like New Zealand, from anything that I've seen, they've mentioned that they felt like England were going to be competitive from the start. And what new look? Looks as usual, dashing self, says Joshua there. And I was going to go the ABs from the Mick Cafe in Australia. Oh, is it morning breakfast time in Australia yet? What time do they start the breakfast menu? I wouldn't mind a McMuffin of sorts. Can you see the tackle swaying? Says a Martin. I think we've seen some huge hits so far in the tackle. We are going to have that lineup design, says Hayno. I do. I'm going to be using it for Fiji versus France. for these two, because of all the pop-ups that I had beforehand, that is why I didn't end up putting it on for these two. We have got there as well, Josh Lord and Scott Barrett. England are not getting any line-out balls this session, and AB's building the team for the next few years. They can only gel and get so much better, says Jeff. We got a bit of a stoppage here at the moment for these two sides. Emma Ratakanu is in the stands, they've just said, and I think the other one was the one from Bridgerton, whose name I don't actually know. But I think she's in Bridgerton. I don't know who she is in Bridgerton, but I think she's in it. Hamish forgot to shave this morning, says Eric J. I shaved about midweek. It's growing back quite quick, but big scrum from New Zealand as well as from the English. It ended up collapsing, but no one gets the advantage. What's your address? I will Uber you a McMuffin. Sadly, we don't have Uber Eats in my little town. We don't actually get to have any food delivered. Now going off to the left-hand side, Ethan de Groot, chopped down by the tackle of Alex Coles. It's a good position to be on the field, though, for New Zealand. Skip pass out wide. Beauden Barrett finds the hands of Leicester Whaiananuku. Cuts back in, thought about the offload, but decides against it in the end. Roigard goes to Peter Larkai. New Zealand exactly where they will want to be, and the only thing that would make it better for them was a penalty advantage. Billy Proctor puts in the fend, reaches out just short of the try line. For the McMuffin Fund, says Invictus close to the line, and they are over Leicester Whaiananuku. Hey, I picked him to score the first try. But New Zealand get over, and it is Whaiananuku who manages to score first for the Kiwis. Go like that. We go like that as well. Of course, it's one of the longer names for the Kiwis that ends up striking first. And Proctor playing well. But yeah, we got the McMuffin Fun in there from Invictus. Thank you very much. Oh, yes, says Linky there. Proctor playing well. Nice, says Greggle. And Billy Proctor getting close to going in himself, luring in all the defenders. And then Whaiananuku just keeping that body position low. And then does go over today. The Grand Slam dream will be no more. England are a better team today. Memories of 2019 World Cup semi-final coming to mind, says Porter as they go down by 5. Now ready to line up this kick. It is Beauden Barrett, 36 metres out. Did the match start yet? It certainly has. And if we had an updated team sheet, cough, says Sash, and that one's going to be going away to the right-hand side. Misses away, so it is going to make the score 5-0 for New Zealand. And we have got there, come on England. Cannot allow the ABs to go through like that. And Emma will come on in the second half, says Eric J. And England are in trouble. I don't think they're in trouble yet. Don't get me wrong, they probably let away a few too many easy meters in there. But at the same time, their attack has been looking dangerous too. We hear there the crowd just trying to start to fire up their team. That little bit more great strength shown by Proctor, says Rodney. That one, it's out on the full from the English. Mistake made from the veteran George Ford. Now, it does give New Zealand now the scrum feed around the halfway line. The thing is, though, no matter how much New Zealand lead by, it's the last 10 minutes that will change this game. I have to bring it up. Back in 2022, New Zealand were leading 25 points to 6 with 10 minutes left to go on to draw that game after England scored themselves 3 tries on the trot to close out that matchup. So, it's a good start, but this game's far from over. Why aren't the Box playing England this summer? Says Sean, I believe it is because they played them last year and normally end up missing 2 of the Six Nations side. So in that case, they aren't playing England and they aren't playing up against the Scottish for New Zealand. They aren't playing up against, they aren't playing Italy, and also they aren't playing France. And Roigard is so good, man, says Freshman. But now ready to feed this ball in, Cam Roigard. It's the ball in. And it's going to be available off the back. Roigard deciding to go for a kick of his own. I think this can be a 50-22. Yes, it is. From the Kiwis, the scrum was on the halfway line, so it is ruled as the 50-22. And that is a very smart kick from Cam Roigard, something that I don't think England were actually anticipating in that situation. BS Red and the Italy versus South Africa game, absolutely. I said penalty only, yellow max, and then they went and gave a red card. And not just a red, a full red. So more than likely a suspension coming for Franco Mostert as well for a challenge that didn't look that bad in real time. Cam Roigard going off to the right-hand side, running onto it. Will Jordan cutting through to the fence, just can't quite get the offload. Also has to get back to his feet. Roigard looking both ways, going off to the left. Peter Larkeye back to Beauden Barrett, finds Quinton Pye. Wide cut-out pass to Cody Taylor. Cuts back inwards. It's another one for New Zealand. They've got 2 tries in 17. Cody Taylor holds his ears and asks if the crowd are still as loud as they were during the Haka. But just some very nice passing from the Kiwis, managing to move it out wide. We see there England looking a little bit rattled as to how that one happened so quickly after the last, but it was the run from Will Jordan that cut through this English defence. And we have got there what, says Porter. And how Hamish says, I think doing very well, full confidence. England will still win. Swing low, sweet chariot, says Porter there. I think every time you comment, Porter, about the English winning, they concede. That is now 2 in a row that you've said England are going to win as they score. And that being the All Blacks scoring. That's offside, or that's outside line, says Sasha. And honestly, Hamish, I'm a little surprised at the moment, says Gregor. I am too. I thought that this was going to be a little bit more low scoring between the two sides in the early stages of the contest, but Beauden Barrett keeps that one nice and low, and it will go over, making the score now 12 points to 0 in favour of New Zealand. Is it half-time? It is not. It's currently 18 minutes into the contest, and the Kiwis have got the lead. Let's see, says Porter. And also, never shouted as hard as I am before the AB, Southern Hemisphere all the way, says Craig. And the North versus the South, says Christopher. And there too, but Cody Taylor, he was one-on-one with Alex Mitchell, manages to step around him out wide, but Quinton Pye, nice take under the high ball. They found a combination here. Billy Proctor going pretty nicely at 13, Quinton Pye having a strong game at 12. Is that what they needed in that midfield? This one's going to be kicked up high, and Leicester's also having a good game out on the left wing, so that is another bonus. Big knock on from Freddie Stewart. Cam Roigard again looking for the 50-22. That one's curling towards the infield this time. And say hello to Garth. Says Gil Story. That one's going to be kicked downfield. Nicely taken by Beauden Barrett. Sitting 40 metres out from his line. Little chip attempted in behind. It's the Beauden special, but he has lost the ball, so that is also regarded sometimes as a Beauden special too. And AB's aimed at Twickenham for a picnic, says Jeff J. And they may well have. Hamish Proctor is playing very well indeed, says Graggle. And now ball is available for England 40 metres out from their own line. This game is absolutely flying by the way. Already 20 minutes down in this matchup. This one's going to go up. Billy Proctor, aerial challenge with Freddie Stewart, who is so classy under the high ball. Managed to just get enough on it to slap it back on the side of England. It's their first attacking chance in about maybe 8 or so minutes. George Ford looking both ways, goes on the inside to Alex Mitchell. It's going to be chopped down. Solid tackle by Fletcher and all Joe Hayes. Collision there. Quinton Pye fighting to try and get a steal and a breakdown. Just loses his footing. The ref is letting this game flow, says Rodney. Now Ben Earl, tackled low by Simon Parker. England, they've been told to use it, and it looks like they are going to go to the kicking option here. Only 35 metres out from the All Blacks line. Who scored so far? We've seen Leicester Fainanuku and Cody Taylor, who have been able to score it. Going up for a nice take from Will Jordan under the high ball. Calls the mark. Now has the chance to kick it downfield. And losing is the new winning, is it? Says Yanko there. And come on the boys, says Linky. And there's on, let's go, says Alejandre. That kick downfield, Will Jordan doesn't find touch with it. Instead, will be returned back from George Ford. Freddie Stewart lining it up again. Will Jordan running onto it. Picked up by Guy Porter for the English. Eventually dragged down by Artie Savia. Mitchell to the short side. Grubbing in behind. England looking to get something going here. Awkward one that Will Jordan just watches into touch. A Wilco low red card. BS, no head contact. Ref's going to getting Springbok Sav for the box. Depth too good. Wilco Lowe didn't get a red card. It was Franco Mostert in the end, but yeah, it wasn't a red. All right, HIA here for Freddie Stewart. That is kind of good for New Zealand because of the fact that now under the high ball, they may be a little bit more competitive. Marcus Smith making his way on. He has got such a brilliant attacking ability, though. And New Zealand will have to keep their wits about them here. I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 76,500, only a couple hundred away. So let's see if we can get there by the half-time break. Smith after 20 minutes says the run. And of course, there is always a chance that Freddie Stewart can return from his HIA. Now kick downfield for Cam Roigard. Again, a very nice exit. At the moment, it's the battle of the 2-9. Swing low, sweet chariot. Says Porter, predictable, says TM. And can Roy Gard take a bow, says Robert T there. And also England line out struggling, says DG. Possession in the last 10 minutes. New Zealand have had 95% of the ball. Your mum, says Bomb Collective. And wipe that smug look off Marcus Smith's face. Says Sakabola, line out throw for Jamie George, stolen by Savia. It's not too often that he is the man going up for a line out steal. Now 40 metres out, Cam Roygaard again will have the opportunity to be able to kick it for touch. You can please commentate in Afrikaans, says Sean. I don't know if I'm quite as skillful as that. And New Zealand take England power out. Oh, taken by England now. Alex Mitchell goes to George Ford. Knock on advantage in favour of the English. Ben Earl sells the dummy. Tries to go through. Finds the offload to Marcus Smith. And a good tackle made. Initially by Billy Proctor to slow him down. Then Simon Parker finishing it off. Going off to the left-hand side. Nice inside ball. Underhill. Ball on the outside. Emmanuel Fiawa-Boso. Plenty of pace here for him. Tries to find the offload. Can't quite do it. Cam Roygaard makes the crucial tackle there. Alex Coles tries to reach out. He's turned on his back. Great defence from New Zealand, as that is the worst case scenario for England outside of dropping the ball. He got turned to his back and they stopped any chance of a grounding. Was the AB's offside there? Says Rodney. We're going to get to see a replay, so hopefully I'll be able to tell you, but it was a great inside ball from Ben Earl. Found Marcus Smith and then they just set it going off. That's a perfect inside pass into the hands of Underhill. Then went down the wing and then Emmanuel Fiawa-Boso almost went through himself. We're going to see it now. Oh, no, we're not going to see it now. We're going to get to see a replay. I think they were all back there, the Kiwis. If anything, maybe Fletcher Nall was a little bit quick up. But it's a goal line drop out here. Leicester Whainaraunuku going up for it, slapping it back. Oh, big collision between Proctor and Guy Porter. And Roygaard playing a blinder, says Craig. And Roygaard is too good, says Fred. Yeah, it is proven that when New Zealand have Roygaard out there on the field, they do a lot better than when they don't. Now pass it off to the right-hand side. Picked up by Alex Coles. Now off to the left-hand side, Ben Earl. About 15 metres out in front of the post. George Ford. Now a step there from Dingwall. He almost set up the first try-scoring opportunity for England in the early stages of the match. Now, as I say, the All Blacks have a Grand Slam on the menu, says LJ and Larkai with the defence, says Session. Yeah, he's been thoroughly impressive here too. It looks like another injury here for the English, so they have had to stop the game for it. Oh, looks like the neck of Guy Porter as he stays down. I think Grant Nisbet has said that it, or that might have been Tony Johnson who said that it is Alex Coles. Sorry, Guy Pepper rather than Guy Porter. We have got there, I don't even listen to the mainstream commentary anymore. Hamish all the way, says Ruby. And someone is down, yeah, so at the moment Guy Pepper is down. Hopefully he is going to be all right. We've already seen one change had to be made from the English. That was Freddie Stewart off for the HIA. Early man of the match for me, Peter Larkai, says Rodney. G'day, Hamish, following along here in South Florida. Go the ABs. But yeah, it's been an eventful first 24 minutes. It's been free-flowing. In fact, I've played 24 minutes of rugby in about 28 minutes. And I don't think we've had a massive amount of stoppages other than a couple injuries here and there. And Fiawa-Boso looking electric, though. And anyone listening in from France, says Sam. And hopefully we've got a few listening from France, because we are going to be doing that France versus Fiji match later on today on the channel, alongside Ireland versus Australia. We're going to be doing both matches on the channel. I've got a guest for that Ireland-Australia game. I need to check the gum guard reading, says Session. And All Blacks falling off first tackles, says Sakabola. Yes, as long as they're slowing them down, that's the big one. And Guy Pepper says Justin in there as well. One more try for New Zealand, says Linky. And there's Freddie Shaw failed his HIA. Not yet, I don't think. He's got another probably about 5 minutes to pass it. As he only went off at around that 20-minute mark. So sad to see Aussie so poor, says Scott's boys. And also we have got their ABs in the coming 2 years. Going to be very good, says Jeff J. And how many box will get carded in this game, says Robert. Points, get them early. Second half comeback. As it refs or players, so the player down, Guy Pepper. I want to say he's going to continue in this game. I don't actually think I saw him going off in this scenario. So going to try and continue in this match, although he did stay down for quite some time. Do these games between North and South prove that the South is better than the North? Says Sippo, it depends on who you talk to. Because it's all circumstantial as well, depending on who is playing who. Thought Parker was unlucky not to get the turnover. says Rodney there, but we are now going to have the scrum beat for the English. 15 metres out from the line. We'll time those two games. They are both at 9:10 a.m. or in fact, they might be 9 p.m. New Zealand time. How hard was Freddie's headbang? Says LJ. It looked like a decent knock for Freddie's Joy. He seemed a little bit shaky when he made his way back to his feet. And AB's a sleeping monster as the box. We know be careful not to wake up, says Gary. Now going short side here for England. Big bump off Ollie Lawrence. Gets through Leroy Carter and scores the try. That is the danger of Lawrence at 13. He winks at the camera too, but he is just bulldozed over the top of someone with the nickname Buntfar. That is how you know you're a powerful ball runner. But Lawrence on the short side just puts the shoulder down and says, I'm going through this gap that wasn't even a gap. He created it himself. And then the missed tackle, Will Jordan going too high. Roygar getting bumped off as well. And England, they are back in the contest now. Now that was too easy, says Sakabula. And Dan England try confirmed. And yes, says Porter, but finishing it off there for Ollie Lawrence. He was one of the key players I mentioned about throughout the preview. I said about his power game. And he's shown it right then and there. But now George Ford ready to line up this kick. South Africa versus Ireland going to be the game of the year, says Martin. I hope it is, but there's also a chance that it backfires and it doesn't turn out to be like as massive as people want it to be. Like, you know how sometimes two great sides don't make a great match? It can happen in the UFC is another perfect example. Two brilliant fighters sometimes cancel each other out. So, yeah, hopefully it is a massive game, though. I think Bok vs Ireland will be a dog show, says Session. Now we have got there Leroy too small, bud. That was pathetic. Yeah, just gets bumped off by Lawrence, and he knew it straight away, Leroy Carter, that he got that one wrong. They just went over there blind. But yeah, missed kick from George Ford, so making the score 12 points to 5 at the moment. Brock Lesnar, Mark Hunt springs to mind. Says Big Rig. Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work out. But hopefully in this match next week, Ireland, South Africa, it will work out and be an absolutely massive one. And put it on, says Ruru Petty. That one's going to be booted into touch again. A great clearance from Alex Mitchell. Gets them to about 41 metres out from their own line. UFC Tonight, who was watching. I don't actually know who's fighting in the UFC today. I haven't even been keeping track of it. We have got that late night live stream tomorrow, Scotland versus Argentina, but I may stay up for the day. Oh yeah, Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena. So might be a decent one. Another penalty goes the way of New Zealand at line-out time for playing the arm. AB's try coming up, says Jeff J. Leroy Carter is actually a strong runner. Says Navigator Island. Now Bowden Barrett. I don't know where that beeping comes from, but it's actually, oh no, Bowden Barrett kicks it dead. And that is the apology there from Bowden, as that was the chance for New Zealand to get on a very good attacking position in the field. They do blow it. And Ireland versus South Africa could be a great match. Could also be a poker game, lots of cards. Rossi can call up players, says me to know. His scoreboard is faster than you, says Mashiu. It does happen sometimes, and other times it's about 5 minutes behind. And Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam could be a cracker, says Fleshin. But now ready to scrummage here. The English will have this feed about 40 metres out from their own line. Talana has said, Hamish, when you're visiting South Africa, I'd like to at some stage, but I don't think it will be within the next couple of years. It would definitely be after the next World Cup if I did. I would say George Ford going for the cross kick. That's going to be close to the sideline. Keeping the ball in the field of play. Now we have got there, what are you smoking, Barrett? And they're doing great stream. First time watching, says Michael. And it is greatly appreciated you being here. We've got plenty more coming up in the near future around the halfway line for the English. Finn Baxter. It's one of his first carries as he is tackled by his opposite number, Ethan de Groot. George Ford back in the pocket, goes high with it again. Manuel Fiwa Boso going up and winning the ball, although Cam Roygar manages to take it back. Thought about the pass on the outside of Cody Taylor, but they did have it covered there, England, so hanging on to it instead. Now, Leroy Carter plays half. Bowden Barrett, chip him behind. Artie Savia, chasing after it as his knee taken out by Joe Hayes. Marcus Smith now. Possession 25 metres out from his own line. Kicking him behind. And that's a very good kick from Marcus Smith. We have got there Sasha Feinbergen, Zulu. Is going to break Ireland, says Martin. And also we have got there Ford head on head, no dip. Says Session there. And we have got there, Hamish is the best live commentator by far, says Talana there. That isn't the same Talana that I see on the International Rugby Facebook group, is it? There is a Talana on there who posts a lot of stuff, I believe. That would be a funny coincidence if it was, but it is rugby related, I guess. Who is blowing the whistle for this match? It will be for Ireland versus Australia. So this ref, it is Andrea Piardi, referee for Ireland versus Australia. I will get you the ref's name right now, but a turnover here. England sitting 30 metres out from the line now. Loose ball. And it's going to be, I think it was knocked on by Artie Savi, although the first knock on is going to be going against the English. But referee for Ireland versus Australia is Carl Dixon. But now passed out wide for New Zealand. 22 metres out from their own line. Here comes the pace of Leroy Carter. He chips it in behind. Takes it himself. Here he has got Billy Proctor with him. That's a big tackle from Marcus Smith. I don't know how many arms were involved in that one. They'll win the penalty. England. Smith get it in the face of Beauden Barrett as well. But tell you what, I think they need to check that one. If we're seeing Franco Mostert get the red card, we have got there, could be, Grandma Crazy About Me Rugby, says Talana there. And we have got the England can't hang, says Session, although very good defence there, morning Hamish, just dragged myself out of bed here in H-Town. We're going to see the replay. Oh, no, there's enough of an arm there from Marcus Smith, kind of wrapped around. And thanks Hamish, appreciate you. And what are arms, says Session. And they won't check it, says Navigator there, nice, says Johnny Blaze. Oh, hang on. Now they are checking it for the no arms from Marcus Smith. We have got there. Hamish knows so much about rugby. I sometimes think he is AI. Okay, it's not actually no arms. It's a knock on from England in the breakdown. Yeah, Ollie Lawrence does actually knock that ball on. I'm surprised they missed that in live. I mean, I know I did, but they had the replay option. Lawrence knock on, says Rodney. And don't you start with the cards like the linesman in the previous game, says Leon. And if you guys think some rugby commentary is awful, I present to you cricket commentary. Even though I'm a cricket fan, I always watch cricket with the sound muted. Put music on instead of listening. Are you going to be watching the Ashes, Arno? Out of curiosity, because I am considering doing the Ashes on the channel, or at least some of it. So maybe you could pop in for some cricket chat, if you're keen. Well, didn't think they'd check anything, seeing as England is at home. And not even a card really, says Brett there. There was no knock on. It was on New Zealand who knocked it on, says Scott, but it is going to be a scrum reset now. 25 metres out from the English line. Looks like there is some rain falling. Ashes could be very good, says Tame there. Can we get a poll on halftime if you are? Says Hano. Poll on halftime, as in like for the Ashes. Hano. And hello, says Thomas. Welcome in. I hope you're doing extremely well. What makes me happy is that the winner of this match still comes second or third to the box. Says Splash TV. Yeah, if England were able to win this game, they go to third on the world rankings. If they lose, they drop to fifth. But only if France win up against Fiji or they lose in this game, England by 16. Y'all watch your Ashes coverage. Says Arno, why does the TMO have to get involved for a knock-on? And also Hamish, what do you think the score will be? I went 28-26 as my original score prediction for this game. But now going back across to the left-hand side, Quintupai goes to Will Jordan, pass on the outside for Leicester. Whananuku looking towards the corner. Emmanuel Fiua Boso, man, he bumped him off hard, but he still managed to finish off the tackle. Smith in the breakdown, trying to be a nuisance and trying to slow it down for the Kiwis. Currently 3 metres out, counter ruck from the English, and they managed to get the ball back. That is brilliantly done. And they have got that possession. The UFC tonight. Annie Bock versus a TMO, says Robert there, and hectic, says Sashin. Yeah, that is an absolutely brilliant steal from the English and a lack of ball security from New Zealand there. Great defence, says Big Rig. Now, nicely taken, halfway. Beauden Barrett goes to Will Jordan. He did have the option of going off to the left, but instead was straight in here with Quinn Tupaia. What countries is the West Indies actually? It is made up of St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, Antigua and Barbuda, I think, is included in there too. But about 6 or 7 different places are all together for the West Indies. Now going off to the left-hand side, Peter Lakai. Low tackle made on him. We have there Jordan looking so dangerous. Yeah, he's had a lot of great runs from the back here for New Zealand. 34 minutes through. Cam Roigard goes back across to Ethan de Groot. Take the collision with Maru Atoje. TMO is far too involved. in the game. There should be limits there, Smoke C. Now Will Jordan playing halfback, goes across to the left-hand side. Little shuffle there from Ethan de Groot. And come on, the Kiwis, let's secure this Grand Slam today. Because beating Wales goes without saying, says Jordan. Now Roygaard, seeing a couple counter-rucks attempted from the English in just this last little while. Trying to get something moving. Billy Proctor, back across now. Almost manages to cut through, gets through one tackle, but then is dragged down by Maru Atoje. Up to 9 phases in a row for New Zealand. Now back across, Josh Lord. Finds the hands of Tapia once more. He's had a lot of carries from that inside centre. Roll, that ball is loose and the penalty goes the way of New Zealand. If they take the 3 points, it's about 43 metres out from the line, but that would give them a lead of more than 7 in this contest. When is Australia playing? I'm very sleepy. They are playing in around 4 hours' time, the Australians. So still a little bit of time until they take to the field. But yeah, a game that we are going to be covering on the channel as well. And go for touch, then get a try. Surely a plump for the 5. Says Haino there. Yeah, that's a huge bump off Emmanuel Fiawaboso, getting himself in all sorts of trouble with the way that he did try and make that tackle. Once again, missed touch. I'm not sure who that was this time. That might have been Cam Roygaard who was missed touch. But once again, England missed touch. So 2 missed touches in a row. And now the All Blacks are back to where they were. Now Beauden Barrett tries to step. Cam Roygaard across to Scott Barrett this time. Get them all going. They would have loved to, but they didn't find the touchline. Not a huge amount of lineouts actually taking place. Are you looking for a job in the C-suite? Says Tame, not particularly. I feel like I'd get sacked very quickly should refs be suspended for bad calls on international games. Says Isaac, it's something that World Rugby would never do, though. It's going to go high. Marcus Smith takes it nicely now, looking down the short side, puts the grubber inwards. Leroy Carter jogging back, passes to Beauden Barrett, 40 metres out from his line. Big lobby pass to Will Jordan. It's about 3 men on the outside. Lester Fine-Arnuku, quick hands to Cody Taylor. Does shape towards the touchline and loses possession. Alex Mitchell looking for a 50-22 of his own. Beauden Barrett chasing back. Be only a couple metres out from the goal line for Beauden Barrett and off his left boot. Does put the spiral downfield, but it's a good territory game for the English. This will be a massive win for either side, absolutely. We've got to remember the draw also still on the cards. These two sides drawing at this location 25-25 back in 2022. We have got there Beauden Barrett. How did he not get it out twice? Says Lumi there. Yeah, although I don't know if it was Beauden Barrett who missed touch for that one prior, because it was off the left boot, which makes me think it might have been Cam Roygaard who did end up missing the touchline for that last one. Now trying to get the rolling ball. Can you point the camera at the screen? You're watching? Sadly not, because then it would get us taken straight off YouTube with a copyright strike for copyright infringement. We're now going off to the left-hand side. England sitting 25 metres out from the line. Maru Atoje, big collision with Ethan de Groot. English starting to put together a few nice phases here before the end of the first half. Ollie Lawrence with the fend. Now back across. Oh, looked like a bit of an injury there for Quinn Tupai. He's holding his back and his knee here. So taking a heavy collision. Hopefully he's going to be all right. Be able to continue here. The wind is howling here, says Ruth. Now back into the pocket. Alex Mitchell finding George Ford. They're going to go for the 3 points here, England. And they get it over to close the gap to less than 7. And bad kicking out the weather over there. It's actually not too bad. There's a lack of wind. A little bit of rain was falling before. We've got their drop goal forward, says DG. That was about a minute and a half ago. Or actually a minute ago, so you must have seen it before myself. Smashed the English. Says no, mum. Beauden and Carter are stopping this backline from being great. And yes, says Porter. And still holding England to 1 try. No conversion or drop goal. It's still incredible on the road, says Jonathan. We have got there, whoever is your mod, is on point today. Says Yanko, I assume we got 1 or 2 mods in there. I did also time out that one who was doing the spamming, but maybe someone else got in there first. And swing low, says Porter. Now nicely taken by Alex Coles. 12 points to 8, the scoreline at the moment. Just a 1 minute 30 remaining in this first half. Stuff the camera, get there. Says Michael, can I go live in New Zealand? It will probably take a little while to get all the documents all sorted for you, but you potentially could, depending on if you're coming over here for work or what the goal is. But Alex Mitchell now going to kick this one up high. Chasing after this one, it looks like it will be the number 14, Roebuck. I will mention Freddie Stewart has not returned, so I believe he has failed his HIA. Oh, I thought that was him for a second, Freddie Stewart, but it was Dingwall now running it. Emmanuel Fioa-Boso has Alex Mitchell on the inside. Great low tackle made by Josh Lord. Now Mitchell back Sam under 40 metres, turns into 25 just off one run here. Back across. Another tackle low on Fraser Dingwall. 6 phases in for England with 45 seconds remaining in this first half. I believe this will be their last attacking chance. At a 1 point game, says DG. And there as well, looking to get themselves the steal in the breakdown. New Zealand unable to do so. Now hitting it up again, Alex Coles. Oh, look back into the pocket. Here comes George Ford with a drop kick again. And the English go 2 in a row off the drop kicks. That is 6 points for them in this contest. Working back into it. The crowd are absolutely loving it at this point in time. But anytime England get into a position where they can take a drop kick, they are certainly going for it here. We have got the New Zealand looking tired. Am I wrong already, says Porter. I don't know if they're looking tired. I think that both of these sides are showing a little bit of fatigue, but not anything that a halftime break won't fix. And drop kicking A says Navigator. Yeah, this is going back to Johnny Wilkinson days at the moment for the English. There is no ways they win the game like this, says Session. It could happen. And 2 missed touch finders for penalties. Have New Zealand ever lost more than 2 end of season tour tests? That's a good question. And one above my pay grade, but that one's going to be kicked into touch by Alex Mitchell, and that makes it a 1 point game heading into the second half. 12 points to 11. And guys, again, what happened to Brendan Pickerel? I'm not actually too sure what happened to him. Like, the easy assumption is he's probably had a bad game, got abused, and decided it wasn't worth it, which is fair enough, but I don't know if that is actually the case. We have got there, why did Roy Gard take the last penalty touch finder, says Freshman? I'm not actually too sure. I think it was to try and create the angle off the left boot. But that didn't make a lot of sense because Bowden, you'd think, would have been able to hook it round nicer. We have there, AB's going to struggle in the second half. Says Jeff Hay, and England look good, says V. Yeah, currently very close between these two sides. All Blacks in complete control. Should be an easy second half for them. I don't know if I'd call it complete control, giving up 6 points anytime they have a little bit of territory against them. When do the Aussies play? They're going to be playing in 4 hours, 15 minutes time. And that is up against the Irish. We've also got that game between France and Fiji. I'm going to be covering that one on the channel and also doing the post-match review of that that South Africa versus Italy match, as well as the game between New Zealand and England. Hoping to do that as well. We have got there, please change into your construction gear at halftime. You don't look right, says Tame there. And Razor needs to have a serious talk, and Bowden Barrett does a bad show, says Dub. And also we've got there, if that's how you want to win, I guess, says Isaac. And also we have got there, so be an easy second half for England, or should be an easy second half for England, says Casper. Looking through at the benches for these two sides, there is certainly plenty of talent still to make their way onto the field in this contest for New Zealand. They have got that massive front row replacement of Samasoni Taukei'aho, Tamaiti Williams, and also Pasili Otosi, Josh Lord, and Wallace Satiti. They'll be the 19 and the 20. Now, Josh Lord, he actually starts this game, so Sam Derry now is that 19, and Josh Lord having a decent first half throughout this contest. And then Cortez Ratama, Anton Leonard-Brown, and then also in the number 23, it is Damian McKenzie, who could be extremely crucial in this contest, as he is the type of player who has been able to win New Zealand games before. I just feel like this one may end up being no different. For the English, they have had to make that change of Marcus Smith. Ben Spencer, he is still to make his way off the bench, and also they've got some great forwards. The 6-2 split, the POM squad, as they have called it. And that is Luke Cowan-Dickie, Ellis Genge, Will Stewart, Chandler Cunning himself, Tom Curry, and also Henry Pollock. We have got there still Satiti on the bench. Right, put him on. Says Navigator. Although, to be fair, I think the loose forwards for New Zealand haven't done too badly throughout the early stages of this match. England celebrating being behind on the scoreboard. New Zealand to bulldoze the Poms in the second half. Says you. And we have got there get Barrett off now. Says Nigel. And also Bowden off. Says Chris. And true second half, All Blacks are pretty mythical. It's very hard to tell what you're going to see from the All Blacks in a second 40 minute, I do have to say. Like we saw in that last match up against Scotland, they struggled in the later stages for a bit, but then McKenzie came on and changed the game. That game up against the Irish, they had their best last 20, I think, up against pretty much anyone in recent time. Damien reminds me of Carlos. When he came on, he could be brilliant or bad, but Damien is usually pretty good. So there's Eugene there. And also Tom Curry is in Tim Curry? No, Tom Curry. off the bench there. And Lakai is playing really good. Yeah, I'd say that Lakai's been one of the pick of the players for New Zealand throughout that first half, alongside Will Jordan. Nuku, he's been solid. Like, there's been quite a few guys for New Zealand who have stepped up in this matchup. It's just been as a whole. You know, like, conceding a couple drop kicks, of course, is going to be annoying for any side. And just conceding the one try of Ollie Lawrence. Outside of that, they have scored more. The HIA's BS, that was technical, says Isaac. I don't think it was. Freddie Stewart hasn't returned. So if it was tactical, you'd assume that Freddie Stewart would have made his way back out onto the field by now, or else he wouldn't be able to return. We have got there, we have a 40-foot Catalina. So I've been to a few of the islands. Says Cuba T there. And also we have got there the slam over today. What I learned when I lived in New Zealand, kiwi fruit is from China. Yeah, it used to be called a Chinese gooseberry. Fun fact. Before being known as a kiwi fruit. What were those kicks for the sideline by Barrett? Shocking. And Bowden too many errors, says Arama there. And I'm watching the boys while touring the UK. And they are playing pretty well. Says Eugene in there as well. But yeah, extremely tight fixture between these two sides at the moment. 12 points to 11. The way that it sits, we saw the 2 tries from New Zealand in the first half. Cody Taylor, as well as Leicester Nuku. The 1 try for England and Ollie Lawrence. We have got there, bring D-Mac on now. Says D's and high ball is going about as expected when you select Carter and Leicester on the wing. We're both not great at it. Says Freshman. But we're at the foot of Ford, dropping them goals for fun, it seems, and 3 points is 3 points. No matter how you get them, they win games. It's exactly right. And the fact that at the moment England are only down by the 1 point. Tackles missed. We've seen 16 tackles missed from the English in that first half. 13 missed by New Zealand, and possession is pretty much 50-50 in that regard. No, nothing right with them. England wanted to get Smith on, stop the bleeding. But, so you're saying they made a tactical sub rather than it being an HIA? In which case, like, either way, if it's a sub, it's a sub. If it's an HIA, the only benefit you got is Freddie Stewart can come back on. So what you've said is it's a tactical early sub from England, not a fake HIA. The F is Barrett kicking non-contestable kicks. Says Sam there. Should I do a whole pill or a half? Says Hamish there. And also, how many Hakas do you know off by heart? None of them, unfortunately. Jeepers Bodie, please kick into touch. Says Distracted. And HIA says GGA and half court. Their kicking has been a bit bad tonight, says Youngco. Now, I can't believe how quick that first half went, though. Like, it has absolutely flown by. It would have taken, I would say, about maybe 45 minutes to get through the 40 minutes of rugby there. So you're in the top 3 XP. Doesn't mean you're talking too much. Says Cool Story there. Now we have got their half court. Their kicking has been bad. And 121 guns falling apart. This is everyone thinking what will happen to the All Blacks. And also wonder how long it will be till Beauden Barrett gets subbed. I think that Razor normally has the normal kind of plan. We need to upgrade your chip, Hamish. Says Ruby. My chip. Which chip are we talking? Are we talking like hot chips? Because I absolutely love it. The hot chips. No, fake HIA. So are you saying... I'm confused, Isaac. So you're saying they faked an HIA to make a sub that they could have made anyway without faking an HIA. Right? That's what you're saying. They made a sub, but they used a fake HIA to make a sub that they would have made anyway without an HIA. Right? That's what your argument is. We have got their lull session. And also England to win by 4, says Kermit there. And just got here. Is this result good for England or bad for New Zealand? I think it's a bit of both. I think that both sides, like, they've been competitive throughout this first half. Is your name Hamish too? It is indeed. And we have got there Isaac M. Dude. Explain to us, elaborate please, says LJ the man. He went off for an HIA and can't come back, says GGA. Yeah, he can't come back if he fails it, which I believe he has at this point. You need the Haka module, it's extra. Says Ruby there, the 2 benches. That's going to play a massive part in who is going to be victorious. And Sky Panel avoiding the Beauden Barrett errors. And you must be smart then, says Hamish. Meters made 107 for Emmanuel Boso there. And this feels like a World Cup game a little bit, says Kermit. Yeah, it's been competitive throughout the first half. Yeah, he's off for the match, says Third Eye. They're just showing there the margins 1-12. New Zealand are still expected to be able to win this game by the 1-12 margin. Seeing the offloads, 1 from Quintabai, 1 from Roebuck, 1 from Dingwall. We did also see 3 line breaks for Emmanuel Boso. So that is massive from that man. Tackles made, we're seeing 12 from Itoje, 12 from Pepper, and actually the man who is leading the way for New Zealand, Josh Lord, in the tackle department. Fake HAO opens up the door for the player to come back if the guy who went on isn't going well, says Viper. I mean, I guess it does, but you've only got 10 minutes to decide, don't you? So I feel like that's too short of a time to know whether or not that's going to change the momentum. No leadership, no cohesion, too many missed tackles and senseless kicking. This is unbelievable. The worst All Blacks team ever. Raisin and his whole coaching team should be fired, says Will, with the exclamation point, putting a little bit of extra smack on that. Your opinion on the best player in the first half? I'd probably go either Peter Larkai or Will Jordan. Maybe Will Jordan. Even though Peter Larkai's been good, I think Will Jordan's had a couple really big moments. And I am, says Brandon, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. And hope you are excited for the second half, which is only moments away from starting back up. George Ford, he's got those 2 drop kicks near the end of the game. 3 penalties against England. It says that New Zealand didn't give away a single penalty throughout the first half. If that is the case, that's impressive. Is that the case? That's huge for New Zealand. The fact that their discipline is at 100% for now. Quimby was the best. Yeah, Quintabai had a very good half as well. And Razor needs to drop Bowden Barrett. He holds his team back. He's never held to count basic mistakes. I expect more drop kicks from Ford. Droppy should be worth 1 point, says Naz Williams. Where did you get that tie? The warehouse? That's a good question. I think it might have been from Farmers a while ago, going to the wedding. Or going to a wedding, not the wedding at Farmers. John's come in and chose violence, hasn't he? And bad kicking has given up possession. And 10:05 a.m. here in the USA actually get to watch the All Blacks and be wide awake. And also less tackling and more tackling needed. Needed from New Zealand, says John. And I've had more beers today than the combined score. That's a lot of beverages. I hope they're little beers. I just found it on some guy's washing line, says Big Rig. The warehouse, nothing wrong with that, says Naz Williams. Yeah, I don't actually know if the warehouse sell ties. Would be the only reason that I wouldn't get it. I have got a few interesting ties from around the place. And drop goals rule, says Jeff. And Scott Barrett has been quiet. We are missing Holland. And drop kicks should be a match winners, only be worth 1 point, says Chris. And also England finding their way through the gaps. I must say Razor is sort of a brand name. And people are psychologically attracted to him as a dancer. But he might not be the best man as coach. And Scott Barrett's decision to not take the 3 was a horrible call, says Nana. Although to his defence, he didn't realise that it wasn't going to be put into touch. So it's a bit of a tricky one. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. And had they been able to kick it out, rolling maul try, people would say, nah, that was the right decision. But it's just too hard to tell. And all these brave England fans right now, says Kiwi NZ, and field position and game management is going to be absolutely key in the second half. And D-Mac's not too bad at drop goals, is he? Only have to win by 1 point. And drop goals are not easy to set up. Yeah, that is true. And they've made it look easy, England, which I think is why New Zealand, they'll be feeling that little bit of frustration. What did I miss? England putting up a good fight. Yeah, it's been very close at the moment. 2 tries for the Kiwis. Whaananuku and Cody Taylor, the 2 try scorers there. And then Ollie Lawrence, the try scorer for the English. Where's my aunt, Hamish? You will probably know your location of your aunt better than myself. Seriously, is Joseph Parker sniffing in the stands? I heard about that. Sounds like he's going to get himself a little bit of a suspension. Joseph Parker. Not ideal. I have the All Blacks 15. Got any more games? They have got a game up against Uruguay tomorrow. That game actually overlaps with Scotland versus Argentina, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we will be doing the commentary for both games just on the one stream. With the score, truth be told, New Zealand doesn't have what it takes any longer. Says Hope Daniels. Is Bodie done? Says Sean Lees. He's struggling in the number 10 jersey. It's whether or not they make that change really early on. Get Mackenzie on, says Sam Wilson. Is that the Sam Wilson who I know? Or is that a different Sam Wilson? Were you at the pub the other night, Sam? Might be a different one. We have got there after embarrassing himself last week. Tripping a player, Carter follows up with a weak tackle that allows for the try, says Hartley. And I work Monday to Sunday and I only get work off midday or midway through your commentary. I'm looking forward to the second half, says JT, and we have got plenty more coming up later on tonight as well. Fiji versus France, alongside Ireland versus Australia. 2 massive games in the international rugby world. And they just need to shut down the drop goals. That is easier said than done, though, because they don't want to get themselves offside because then you gift England an advantage. Different one, mate. Okay, so it's good to know. That second half just about to start up. But yeah, they can't afford to give away penalties in the second half, or else England will take threes. They will be able to keep on ticking over that scoreline. That counter-ruck on the English line was costly, and the loose forward contest picks up, and also Haka needs to get stuck in. Yeah, that big moment when New Zealand were on the attack and then lost that ball just out, just put the ball in touch, into bloody touch. Because Haka is either innocent, RB sample being tested, or Tyson Fury cajoled him into it. But close at the moment. And we have got that England will take this one, says Gerard. And also who is winning today. My prediction was one of these two sides by 2. I went 28-26 as the scoreline, which is still more than on the cards at this point. And come on the ABs, says September. And also Artie will come to the fore and turn the game, says Jimbo. And Great England will take this one convincingly. Says Gasper, England will lose. They're destined to lose, says you guys. It seems like at the moment everyone's picking both sides to lose. Is anyone picking someone to step up and win this game? That's the big question. Shut down the drop goal, kicking position away, catch the ball. That's how you stop the drop goals. And All Blacks by 12, says Talana. It's Rico's fault, says Gary there. But now, Tamaiti Williams. Did they just say on the commentary, no changes we can see from either team when they just show Tamaiti Williams on the camera? So they have made one change at least. That is for Ethan de Groot. 28-26 to who? I don't want to say. And man, these early games are rough. Hamish, your prediction is looking possible, says Solid. And Box to win by 12, says Yanko. And there as well, but England will be kicking off this one from right to left, and the second half underway. It is all on the line for these two sides. Extremely close at the moment, but Peter Lakai, one thing is for sure, he has had a solid game from the number 8 jersey. Now rolling this one back, Cam Roygard. Going to exit from inside of his 22. It'll be a massive fall from grace of our Mangere lads taking that stuff, says Naz Williams. Are you from the Naki, Hamish? I am not from the Naki, no, but it is going to be the line out now for England. Jamie George, important throw, goes in, nicely taken by Guy Pepper. Back across to the right-hand side. Little pop pass up. New Zealand looking for the steal on the breakdown with Quintal Pye, but this is where New Zealand have to be so careful, because any time that the English get that little bit closer, ball is loose. Will be close, but I think Kiwis will take it. You're always a fence sitter, Hamish, says John there, but it is a knock-on against the English, so first scrum feed of the second half will be for the All Blacks. England is my last team, says Ruby there. A good game so far. Let's hope the second half delivers. Yeah, it's been a free-flowing type of matchup. It's actually been thoroughly enjoyable. I see that Spain are leading over England A at the moment. That game just getting underway, and Spain leading 3-0. Portugal are beating Hong Kong 27-12, and USA are beating Romania 16-11 at this point in time. Oh, sounds like there was a New Zealand player's hand involved in a knock-on. So this is going to be a TMO check here by the looks of it. Time check, please. At the moment, 41 minutes, 26 seconds, but time is off because they are going upstairs to check. Oh, it's the dirtiness from Cody Taylor on the ground. He did end up getting involved on that ball. It's probably going to be a yellow to Cody Taylor. Someone mentioned about him getting a yellow before the match got underway. It's Fabian Holland, the tall lad, playing today. He is not out late due to sickness. I meant that he is not going to be playing in this contest. So Cody Taylor gets a yellow card there. What yellow card, says Rodney? They've said that it's a bit extreme, but it was an attacking chance for the English. They were trying to recycle it quickly. And Cody Taylor on the ground giving away what was a silly penalty in that scenario. Do you even want to win, says Mr. Tuber dude, goodness, yellow for that, says Johnny. Yeah, so I assume that the reason behind it being a yellow is because of the fact that Marcus Smith was trying to get that ball out the back quickly, and England was still on a relatively decent attack. Hong Kong's China, it's nonsense. Hong Kong has a rugby team, says Marcus. A spare of thought for Hamish. He has to listen to absolutely terrible television commentary, says Powerbite. Timos have gone crazy, says Lyle. Now that one is going into touch. They've actually just mentioned that it's the first penalty against New Zealand in this game, and it is the yellow card. They did have 3 yellow cards in the last contest. Commentators are not happy about it as well. Do they realise England probably know how to find touch? There's Mr. Tuba Dude. Now the English, they are 10 metres out from the All Blacks line. Jamie George. Ready to throw this one in. And here we go again, disciplining us down. Although first penalty of the day. But they did call it substantial against Cody Taylor. Now Ollie Lawrence hits it up. Now Ben Earl, 5 metres out from the try line. New Zealand defending with 14. Passing across to the side. Leicester Fainanuku having to make the tackle alongside Billy Proctor, who does well. Alex Mitchell trying to sneak through. And that is a last-ditch tackle from Billy Proctor, who may have almost stopped him. Or is there a grounding? I think they're going to have to check this one. No, England decide it's not a try. So they will go back and have another crack. Manu Itoje just short of the try line once more. Passed up and it's over for Sam Underhill. The English score right next to the post. And that is their second try of the contest. The Kiwis were not happy about something there, but Sam Underhill goes over for a rare try for him at international level. I like that. It was a great stop initially from Billy Proctor defensively. And we have got there Sam the man and looks, what happens when you kick it out? I don't want to England win following a yellow card like that, and Stretch scored. And South African here, go to the AB, show them what you got. Says Norris there. And I'm going short the New Zealand dollar. If the ABs lose, that one has gone over. And that is going to make the score now 18 points to 12. They go from 1 down at halftime to 6 up. 43 minutes through this contest. BS ref call says Kiwi strong, 18 unanswered. Says Vic Mars. That is true. That is quite the point. 18 points in a row for the English. Great commentary, Hamish says, Ronnie, thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. That's the cost of the yellow card. And yeah, you can see the frustration from Scott Robertson here. It's back in 2022. We were talking about it on that live stream. Was Robertson going to England or was he going to the New Zealanders? In the end, going the way of the Kiwis, Luke Cowan-Dickie. He will make his way on now. And that is going to be for Jamie George, who was limping a little bit on that left leg. And revenge now, ABs make it quick and it gets 14. Might have been more competitive now, says Hugh. And ABs will win in the last quarter, says Norris there, and go England. Oh, looks like Roygaard's off. That's a big blow to the Kiwis because Scott Robertson has been giving Cortez Ratam a maximum 5 minutes at the end of these November internationals. Now he is expected to turn this game around for New Zealand with 35 minutes remaining. And Cody couldn't help himself, says Jimbo there. I can't believe this, damn it, man, says LJ the man. Now 22 metres out from their line, England with Alex Mitchell ready to kick this one up high. It's going down towards the sideline. Leroy Carter leaves it for Will Jordan, who looked like he was almost tackled in the air from Emmanuel Fiawa-Boso. There is the advantage now in favour of New Zealand. Yellow was harsh, but cheers, Cody. Says canvas bed there, and nobody's going to blame you if you sneak something into your water, says Keith. Now going short side. Leroy Carter trying to bump off Emmanuel Fiawa-Boso. He's asking for the penalty. Carter's saying he got hit on the chin or hit on the cheekbone from Emmanuel Fiawa-Boso. Concentrate England, no slip-ups. And better team next score will win it, says Porter. Just going in there a little bit early for Fiawa-Boso. Great commentary, says Lee. Thank you very much. Anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coming up in the near future. Right. The All Blacks are going to tap this here off the penalty. That is so weird. But also at the same time makes sense because they don't have Cody Taylor. So they've just decided rather than going for anything else, they don't have a hooker, so no scrum. But New Zealand, bit of a change of tactics. Now pick and go. Now Ratama going back into the hands of Beauden Barrett, who will kick this one up high. It just seems like a waste for New Zealand. They decided to take a quick tap for the sake of not giving the ball to England, and then they gave the ball straight to England afterwards. Tap from how far out? 50 metres out is where they decided to tap that one, and now they've given England the ball back 22 metres from the English line. Can't understand a word that geezer is saying, says Patrick. I could try talking slower if you like, if that helps your brain comprehend it. But now, Alex Mitchell. Oh, he's not happy. That one hasn't found touch. Beauden Barrett going now to Leroy Carter in the middle of the field. And look how quickly apart the AB's got their 2 tries, says John. 35 minutes left, and come on the ABs, says SN. in there too. Now Ratama back across to Mighty Williams. He is the other change that has been made by the Kiwis. Little step attempted from Will Jordan, who finds himself out on that left wing just for now. Bowden Barrett going to Peter Larkai. Was away Cody Taylor yellow or something? Yep, yellow card for Cody Taylor. Another 4 minutes that he will be off the field. It was 12-0 when I got up, says Andre John. Yeah, they have had 18 unanswered points for the English in this game. It looks like Ratama now going for the box kick off his left foot. I wonder what type of injury that is going to be for Cam Roy. I don't know, it's ankle, but whether or not he is out for more than just a little bit of time. Leroy Carter with a good attacking run for the Kiwis. They move 15 metres out from the English line. Josh Lord tackled low by Finn Baxter. So some great players to make their way off of the bench for the English. That's a poor pass from Lester Fainanuku and a poor catch from Leroy Carter. And yeah, notice the points. Says Graggle there. How's a Hamish Craig from St. Francis Bay is here. Welcome in. Now it is going to be the scrum feed for the English. Drop goal, says John Wilson. Right, time is off at the moment, but they are just having a quick little break. Unlucky, says Sash in there. Didn't Roy Guard come back from injury? He did. So this is a low ankle injury, they've ruled it. Now, a lot of other guys have had low ankle injuries and been out for up to 6 weeks. Now, watch out for Hamish's comebacks. You won't win, says Nars Williams. So now we do see Samisoni Taukeiaho making his way. Why did I say that like he was Japanese? Samisoni Taukeiaho on the field for New Zealand. And Simon Parker has to make his way off. That is due to that Cody Taylor yellow card and the fact that there is a scrum now taking place. Came back after 30 minutes and see England stomp at the ABs. How, says ALH. And also we've got there his left foot, says John, and Cortez shouldn't have gone short side. They weren't in any position to run onto it. You see at the moment just the one change in the forward pack for the English. That is Luke Cowan-Dickey. Still Chandler Cunningham himself. They've got Tom Curry. They've got Henry Pollock. So some great options still to make their way off of that bench. Yeah, we have got there, I will not say that Elmar because I know what it means. We have got there, I'm sure, these plucky ABs will do their best to hang in there to the end. And impossible for the Poms to win, says Martin there. I mean, they have labelled their bench as the Pom squad and it is stacked for this one. And good commentary game, which says Billy Bob, thank you very much. Now 22 metres out from the line, England, 5 metres from the far touchline. And a big English push at the scrum. They will get themselves the advantage and the penalty awarded for England there. That is a statement being made. Leicester needs to tighten up. Yeah, he's been a bit loose throughout this game. Made a couple silly errors so far. Fainanuku, a boxer 110% going to destroy the Irish, says Johnny Blaze there. And go England, says Craig. And there as well, All Blacks is panicking, says Shano. And yeah, another 3 minutes remaining of that All Blacks yellow card before Cody Taylor can make his way back out onto the field. We have got the don't start making excuses if the All Blacks lose, please. The Bocky, says Glenn there. And hard to scrum without a hooker, says Session. Although they do have a hooker on there for Samisoni Taukeiaho. He made his way on, replacing Simon Parker. And England is starting to believe, says Will there. And try for Ford, says DG. I really hope that you haven't just spoiled the next try, but you probably have. Now this one's going to be thrown in, nicely taken. Mato Atoje going off to the left-hand side. Now attack and run forward from Tommy Roebuck. Offload to Ben Earl. And off the, yeah, it is George Ford who scores the try. So that one's spoiled a little bit, but it is the try for the English. And George Ford, the unlikely candidate of that pass. Oh, hang on, time is off. This one may not be awarded here. A great try though, says Eric J. And also, well, oh dear, says Stephen. And then, hi Hamish, good evening. And also, they are on a winning streak and they are well ahead. A nice try, England. I'll give you that one. Right, they are just checking this one. I got my Sevens ticket yesterday. Am I still on the Sky TV ad? I haven't seen a Sevens ad for quite some time, so I'd assume that you would be, though. I did say England by 15, says Alexandra. Right, this one's being reviewed. Did seem like a massive gap for Ford to run through, so you'd have to assume that is because of... I assume they're checking for obstruction of some sort, trying to say that that is why the gap was there. BB says DG. And as it try says Porter, we are just waiting to find out. And don't read too much into that Pom Squad cobbler. The half newspapers all over. probably called them that. I think Steve Borthwick actually called them that. Or is that a knock-on from Ben Earl in that scenario? Reviewed by FB. We're going to see it. Right, Bowden knocks it out of the hands of Earl. The thing is, the way that Earl was almost disappointed about it, you would think it was a knock-on, but I think this one might be ruled as just backwards. So I think that's almost going to be fine. Hamish England has the Pom squad. Come on, New Zealand, last the Pom, says Sue. It's not a knock-on, says Hano. Yeah, I think this one's going to be fine. Amazing what you can do with 15 men, says Ronnie. Wait. So they've determined that is not a knock-on, I think. No, they've called it as a knock-on by England. But they're looking for an offside at the line-out, is what they're looking for now. So they're saying that someone was within the 10 before the ball came in. Okay, clear offside in the line-out. So forget about that little knock-on situation. It was offside at the line-out is what it is being ruled back for. So that is going to be 40 metres out from the line. How's that a knock-on? So I think in the end they may have said it's not. I don't know what they actually came up with, but they're going back for the offside anyway. So offside would have overruled whether it was a knock-on or not because they found it in the line-out. Jordan kicking now. Says Rodney. Yeah. Am I the only one that feels, though, if Will Jordan's kicking the ball into touch because Beauden Barrett can't, what's the point of Beauden Barrett being in the 10 jersey out there on the field rather than McKenzie? It just seems like a bit of a weird choice. Oh, what's happened now? They have to kick it for touch again, New Zealand, because they didn't take it from the mark. Well, I would have thought they should have been told where the mark was before being allowed to kick that ball. This game's turning into that last match between South Africa and Italy. Rugby is bad now, too many biased officials. Says John Wright, that ball has been kicked into touch by Will Jordan. Put D-Mac on G's. And AB's got to introduce the Tron squad, a crazy game and annoying. Says Graggle there. And World Rugby need to check the officials, they are pathetic, says Shano. And come on, the AB smash the bomb, says Sue. So the score remains 18 points to 12 with Samisoni Tolkiaho having his first line-out throw of the day. That one's going to be overthrown, but it goes to Artie Savio, who was waiting for it at the back. And can be substitute the ref? Says David there. The ball available for the Kiwis. Fletcher Null hitting it up 25 metres out from the English line. Ratama goes across to Billy Proctor. Tackled early by Maro Itoje. Pick and go from Samisoni Tolkiaho. See, theoretically, he knows that he can empty the tank here a little bit because he will get another break in the near future. The official South Africans. The TMO is Marius van der Vesterhuizen, I believe. And the scenario referee in charge is Italian. Now pick and go from Artie Savia. New Zealand not really going forward with these phases at the moment, up to 6 in a row. I'm playing halfback. It's going to be Josh Law dropping his head. Or he is tackled by Luke Cowan. Dickie Ratama goes across. Beauden Barrett trying the cross kick. Diving for it. Quintabaya can't rein it in. And Tabaya thought he was Narua. And that's going to be the knock-on. And please, AB, try brothers from South African, says a Brett. Yeah, it's a dive for it there, Quintabaya. The worst thing is he made the ground too. Officials are embarrassing themselves when the game becomes about the official. We need to take our sport back from these numbnuts, says Ralph. Okay, it sounds like the Pom squad, as it is labelled, is about to be let go. Henry Pollock yelling, shouting. He is nodding his head. He is fired up and he is trying to get the crowd behind him as well as he makes his way ready to make his way on. I think that Chandler Cunning himself also going to be making his way out there too. Bench is emptying. Says DG. However, there go England. Show them rugby is not all about a razor dance, says Casper. And now that is going to be a big push from England, but it is a scrum reset. Only 28 minutes remaining in this contest. Still 20. Oh no, less than 20 seconds of fact. Now, Cody Taylor, I believe, will be able to make his way back on very soon. We see Damian McKenzie and Wallace Satiti about to make their way onto the field for New Zealand. They have got quite the reputation as players who have to completely change a game in the later stages. And New Zealand says fire there. And also roll on England, says Richard. And there too. We're All Blacks up 12-0. They certainly were. Then from there, 18 unanswered points from the English. The All Blacks will struggle or continue to struggle with Beauden Barrett on the field. Does not look comfortable at all. And also there's only one bomb squad. That there's only one POM squad at this stage. POM is the spelling that's gone down on the far side. Mighty Williams having a bit of a laugh at Joe Hayes, who does not look happy about it at all. Joe Hayes is looking like Joe Marler's long-lost brother at the moment in these scrums. As Pollock on, not quite, but about to be out there. Wait, what? The POM squad, says Norris. So both players just trying to get their boots all sorted, getting the grass out of them. This is a crucial scrum in the game. This blonde-haired idiot with a headband. I hope they tackle him into next week when he comes on. That is what many sides have hoped up against Henry Pollock, but he's a very talented young player, which I think does rub a lot of people the wrong way as well, because yes, he has got a bit of an ego, but a lot of the time he backs it up with what he's able to do out there on the field. And the POM squad says Sean Lee's there. And now, ball's going to be fed in, front row's going down, ball available for the English. Alex Mitchell trying to pierce through, but Ratama makes the tackle on him. Now England, they have got the ball again, 25 metres out position on the field at the moment, 25 metres out from their own line here, England. Sam Underhill moving forward, Artie Savia begging the referee to give him a penalty, but does not get it. Now kicked high. Down towards the halfway line, Will Jordan goes up for the high ball. Looks like it might pop back on the side of the English here. Yep, just on the side of England in the breakdown with a big cheer from the crowd because of it. Now cross kick attempted from George Ford. Going a little bit deep though. He's looking for the 50-22. It could be on, and George Ford with some brilliance does get it there for England. And this is right when they're about to make all of the switches as well here. So England, they will have a few fresh legs just about to go out there. We have got there what a effed up ref. The English should have been leading by, says Johan. And whose feed, says Mr. C-Mass. So it was England's scrum feed. Now it is going to be England's line out. We see Samasoni Tokiaho. He makes his way back off the field. Satiti has made his way on for Simon Parker. McKenzie has made his way on for Beauden Barrett. And what has been one of his worst performances in an All Blacks kit in quite some time. He did not quite get it going. Lee's ABs pull a collective finger out. And now nicely thrown in England. Not looking for the rolling ball this time. Going to Ollie Lawrence. Short ball straight through. Dingwall scores. And the English get that one over. They will not have this one cancelled out. Unless, of course, they were offside at the line out again. But it is Fraser Dingwall going straight through. The danger of the Ollie Lawrence run there too. It could have been either of them piercing their way through the gap. And the English now, the crowd are getting louder as the minutes pass by. Oh, look, no cards for anyone yet. And disallow that one, says Eric J. And AB's down and out at OMG. England is in charge now, says Tame. And no way, says John. And there as well. And far too easy, says Jimbo. Yeah, just a very flat attack and run. You're a bit conservative with your prediction of an England win, says Hayno there. And Sweet Caroline, says John. But this is now 25 unanswered points from the English. This is how many these two sides drew with back in 2022. It's the pass across. And just going through the gap. The big smile on the face of Fraser Dingwall. He knew he was through. And Ovaby's getting steamrolled. And what's the real score? Real score is 25-12 at the moment with 25 minutes remaining in this contest. Beauden Barrett needs to retire and come on the ABs, set that chariot on fire. And New Zealand bring on the best players late to try and win the game instead of starting them to win the game. England win and win well. Oh, couple more changes. Fletcher Null comes off for Basilio Tossi. Quinn Tupai making his way off for Anton Leonard-Brown. Has a lot of experience, but has he got the form to be able to back it up? I see taken by Maru Atoje. Type of player that England will want to have out there for the full 80 minutes. And there goes the Grand Slam. Says DG in there as well. Now England, they are ahead by 13. And we have got there New Zealand dropping to 4th after this game. Oh, that's out on the full from Alex Mitchell. Bit of a mistake made from him. And the world rankings calculator, I believe New Zealand would still stay in 3rd. But if they were to lose this game, they lose 1.03 in the world rankings. England, if they were to win this game, they will go up to 3rd in the world rankings, though, ahead of Ireland. Oh. Okay, so it's inside of the 22 for the line-out, but it was taken back by the English. That is where a little bit of confusion is. And come on, the English. The Kiwi podcasters are going to be on fire this coming week. Says Brent. This one ready to throw it in. Oh, nicely gone to the front to Mighty Williams, but 3 men try and grab him. He got his knees down, so they do have to release him in that breakdown. Trying to go over the top was Tom Curry. And come on, the refs save the All Blacks. Says WLK. An awesome game, enjoying the game, says Shane. It's been a much better game than we saw earlier on. It's competitive, although at this stage, England's starting to run away with it a little bit. New Zealand will need to try, and they'll need it soon. They want to get a chance. Coming back in the game, another advantage now going against the English for trying to play the ball off their feet. And in fact, it might have also been offside against Alex Coles. Overhyped, says Remixes there. And breaking the line, almost Peter Lakai having the ball all but stripped away from him by Ollie Lawrence. Short side again, Ratama going to Wallace Satiti. Takes 3 Englishmen to drag him down. Ratama again goes across to Josh Lord, tackled by Itoje and Pollock. Now back across, Barrett goes to Damian McKenzie, tries the big slinging pass, no one out there though. They'll go back for the original penalty. That legendary All Black stays is slowly leaving. Says Anaz Williams. I can only hear you moan, says Alentronic. That's a special setting. I don't know how you get that one on YouTube. Your clock is a bit wrong. Says Eric J. Yeah, it's 2 minutes ahead at the moment, but it is an automatic scoreboard, so it does update by itself. It feels like Itoje and Smith have had good games. Yamato Itoje has been busy in this contest. Looks like New Zealand, the decision is they are going to go with the tap here. What's your take on South Africa-Italy game? One of the worst I've watched this year for international rugby. South Africa did very well to still go on to win by the margin that they did, with all of the controversies involved with that early red card and whatnot, which was not a red. Oh, knock on from Damian McKenzie. New Zealand, another mistake coming. Here comes Henry Pollock in a bit of open space. Him and Peter Lakai running it out wide. Now passes it to Tom Roebuck. Looks for the offload. Pollock does knock it on. He looks to the ref, says he was tackled off the ball, but he originally knocked it on anyway. Hands are up. He is not happy at the moment, the youngster. He's saying tackled off the ball for Henry Pollock. And get the point, says Ryan Atimo. Literally just found every reason to disallow an England try. The absolute plank of a human being. Moan, says Alentronic in there too. And you have to take the points in that position, says Stephen. They're showing there. Maybe hung on to it a little bit too long for Henry Pollock. Yeah, so he's saying he was tackled off the ball after he had knocked the ball on. We're going to see it now. Pass from Roebuck. And yeah, then it is knocked on. And the hands went up from Pollock. He was hopeful trying to get the penalty. We are getting embarrassing by the AB, says Peter there. An excellent commentary, Amish truly. Says Porter there. Not good for the ABs. Says Sam in there as well. What the F is he saying? Says Sean. You're talking about Henry Pollock or myself? It seems to be the Kiwi accent has really stumped a few people today. I mentioned how I can speak a bit slower so that it does register in the brain a little bit easier. But, yeah. There's also subtitles. Subtitles are a great thing. I've watched some of them on a movie and it helps out a bit. You know, helps connect the two. There's still some time for the All Blacks to switch to an Aussie accent. It might work out a little bit better, do you think? Nah, but then people get annoyed because they'll be like, you're Australian, we hate you. So that's not a good idea. We're going to get any more rain. A little bit more rain falling at the moment. 40 metres out from the line. And the All Blacks have got themselves the scrum feed. Pretty sure that most English people understand you. They're just moaning. Says Ryan. It's going to be A scrum there. Massive push from England and they get the penalty at scrum time. Atoje fired up. This could be a big moment in this contest. ABs are disintegrating. And also perfect New Zealand English says ANFG, and other than Mackenzie and Barrett, is there any other good team for New Zealand? Not one that they'd take a risk with. They've got Ruben Love, they've got Raves Rehana, Cam Miller, they've got Josh Jacob, all these young guys that could one day get the chance, but they are stuck with the two main ones. Can you please commentate this? Where'd that go? Next week's game against Ireland in Afrikaans? I cannot. I don't know enough Afrikaans to be able to commentate more than a half a sentence. It is a very stop-start watch. It is the second half at the moment. We've lost a little bit of momentum in this game in general for both sides. Just the 19 minutes remaining now, though. It's going to be a chance for the English inside of the 22. Luke Cowan-Dickey ready to throw this ball in. Nicely taken by the English. Line out now. Another set piece. That's where they've been so dangerous throughout this match, the English. Alex Mitchell passes across to Ben Earl. One more try here and she could be all over for the Kiwis. Rough pass there from Tom Curry. Gives the ball straight to Peter Larkey. Now Billy Proctor charges forward, kicks it downfield. Looking for the 50-22. Ball bounces awkwardly. Marcus Smith close to the sideline. Will Jordan makes the tackle. Leroy Carter trying to get in there. And he wins the penalty. Not sure about a clear release there from Leroy Carter. But the All Blacks will certainly take it. I hear every word. Your commentary is articulate, eloquent, lucid, and coherent, Hamish. Says Ruby there. And we have got there Makhachev. As Stephen Donald on the bench says Dame set match. He is not. But Mackenzie is. He hasn't quite had his impact as of yet. I think Marcus Smith is asking for that same thing, as saying maybe it wasn't quite the clear release, but 5 metres out from the line. New Zealand now have got themselves the opportunity of a line out. This is where Samasoni Taukei'aho has scored so many times throughout this year, but I believe it is still Cody Taylor who is out there on the field at the moment. We have got there listening from Wales. You sound fine to me, Hamish. Sounds like England doing very well versus your guys. Says Mark, England have played a very smart tactical game of rugby here. They're making the most of their opportunities, but this is the big one for New Zealand. Nicely taken. Moss, drop ball from Scott Barrett though. Cody Taylor locked over the ball. They'll go back for the All Blacks. Knock on. You see there the frustration for the Kiwis. Scott Barrett not able to hang on to that one. And nothing wrong with the speed of his speech, Hamish, says John. And come on, the AB, says Norris. And there as well. But Atoje got the hand in there. And manages to force the error from Scott Barrett. New Zealand playing very not New Zealand. Says, I know your accent is great. Says Ben. We have got, oh, hang on. It's going to be the penalty to New Zealand. The TMO has got involved. And it is the offside from Maro Atoje. So the All Blacks have another opportunity to do the exact same set piece. But this time, of course, they will want to get it right. Yay, says Ruby. Beauden Barrett literally killed this game, says Martin. And also dropped, says Mr. Foosball. So now same position of the lineout. Cody Taylor, Maro Atoje yelling out loud. They're going to the middle, this time taken by Scott Barrett, and the rolling ball for New Zealand starts. Alex Coles trying to get through the middle and cause a problem for the New Zealanders as they start to move in the right direction. And it's an advantage against Ben Earl. Ball pops out the side. That will be the penalty. Yellow card here, coming for England at the worst possible time. Aliev says, Johan there, come on boys, show your heart, says Socks. So I believe that's going to be Ben Earl who will make his way to the bin. Yes, it is. Will this hurt the All Black seeding? Not at the moment. They will still sit in the number 2 spot, but England will move up to number 3. Kick to touch again for New Zealand. So they will look to get a rolling ball going yet again here at this stage of the contest. I will mention New Zealand. They will be big underdogs at this current point in time. But if they can score right now, that changes things. And what did I say? ABs will win. We stress too much, says Sayur. And we have got there, here we go, help the ref, says WLK. Cody Taylor, ready to throw the ball in. Josh Lord, looking to get this rolling ball marching forward at the moment. It is stagnant. Cody Taylor, Moving away to the left-hand side, just a couple metres short of the try line there. Great tackle made by George Ford. Cortez Ratima going across to the side, getting very close for the Kiwis. Ratima again moves it on. Short ball from McKenzie to Will Jordan, and that is the try for New Zealand. And they get back into this game now. We are far from over in this contest, ladies and gents. Still 15 more minutes remaining. I did see DG tried to spoil it again. You're probably one spoiler away from a timeout, mate. Just warning you, because you've done it every single try in this match so far. But New Zealand going off to that left-hand side. It was good power shown up front from Tamaiti Williams, and then that short ball from McKenzie to feed it through the gap. And Will Jordan finishes it off. Come on, New Zealand. Sheesh, this is a hell of a game. Says Graggle there, and come on, the All Blacks. Says Sakabola. And try, says Cameron Kay. And there as well. So I think England were asking for a forward pass there. And yes, here's Sam. Putting that ball down, making sure he had it in both hands, Will Jordan. There was no chance that he wanted to let that one slip through. One more try. Says Sayor. And who got the yellow? It was Ben Earl for the English. I think England too good. And Boo, says Scott. And there as well, Tokiaho. He makes his way onto the field for Taylor. Derry comes on for Josh Lord, who's had quite the game. And time out those who give the spoilers, says Xander. I don't want this referee again, says Kiwi Rob. And also we have got there another converted try, please, says Noman, and game on. Come on, the All Blacks. It's the time is now, says Norris. George Ford taking that kick about 5 metres in front of the halfway line, but Peter Larkai now tackled by Atoje. I have a question. Is there a chance for New Zealand to still win? They are currently down by 6 points. So I would say this game is well and truly close enough for a comeback to still be possible for New Zealand. And now it's so close. Any more Pom squad? What you going to do when they're coming for you? And how much time left for this game? Still another 13 and a half minutes remaining in this contest. England have got themselves the line out. Billy Proctor next try, says John, is the prediction there. And All Blacks will have to watch out for the drop kick from England. That is something that they may look at. Currently with that lead of 6 points, a drop kick would take them outside of that 7-point margin. Not straight throw from England. The crowd not happy about that one. And Jordan to score the winner. And even if the final whistle blew now, the world's media wouldn't hear the end of the Poms crying about could have, should have, says Robert. You're so lucky to be watching the game, says Craig. And Taylor's wasn't even a yellow card. The English one was, says, yeah, man. Well, half of New Zealand in, but at the moment, just inside of their own half. 40 metres out from their own line. That was a straight red, says Scott. Who's straight red? Are we talking, Scott? And bloody win, says Jason. And they're right off the All Blacks unless they play the Springboks, says Afsil. And our scrum feed now. 12 and a half minutes left on the board. Does England have the 6-2 split? They definitely did go with it in this contest. Chandler Cunningham himself, Tom Curry and Henry Pollock. Those 3 replacements. Kiwis blaming everyone but themselves, says David. Yeah, the reality of this game is New Zealand have not been good enough at this point in time. England have played the better game of rugby, but they've still got time left to right those wrongs. The Kiwis, they've got themselves the penalty advantage. Cross kick from Damian McKenzie. Trying to pop it up was Lester Fainanuku. Couldn't quite get it into the hands of Jordan. Not over, please, says Gabriel. And Kia ora from Western Australia, says Marcel. Welcome and hope you're doing extremely well. Okay, the crowd are not happy again. We got a contest, says Mr. Foosball. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to go down to the wire between these two sides. Yeah, collapsing in the front row. 26-25 for New Zealand, says Mr. Waters. It's about time the Kiwis had a reality check. Says Jason there, hello from Sydney, Australia. Says Karatiana. Of course, later on today, we have got the Australia versus Ireland match that will be covered on the channel, alongside France versus Fiji. We've got 2 streams that will be overlapping. I'm going to be covering that France versus Fiji contest now on the halfway line. Anton Leonard-Brown runs it straight at George Ford. Who has the ball so far? At the moment, the All Blacks are in possession, 45 metres out from England's line. Henry Pollock gets in the breakdown and wins the steal for the English. That was for the New Zealanders leaving their feet. As Pollock crying. Hamish, he is currently crying with joy from getting that penalty in favour of his English side in the breakdown. Satiti straight in off the feet. Pollock putting the pressure on in the breakdown and winning the penalty for his side. We have got there, what slam did England beat Fiji? Says Eric J. Yeah, England on a 9-match winning streak at the moment, and it looks like they are kicking this one for the corner here, England. Thought perhaps that George Ford would consider going for the 3 points. They will make it a little bit closer. And we have got there, finish strong and high from Fiji. Welcome in. And hold on to the win, England. And Pollock is definitely not overrated, says Richard Clark there. And we're not winning, says Brandon. See there, another 4.5 minutes or so remaining for Ben Earl when he is off the field. But another try here for England would change this game. Even 3 points would be a massive game changer. But Luke Cowan-Dickie, he needs this throw right in. New Zealand managed to get the steal at line-out time again. Pollock looking towards the touch. Judge doesn't receive the penalty that he's after. Damian McKenzie, big boot downfield. And that one's bouncing into the English 22. Tom Roebuck back, running this one, back in the direction of the Kiwis. Sends it back to Damian McKenzie, who takes it 22 metres out from his own line. Kicking downfield, Will Jordan chasing after this one. Won't quite get there. Passed off to Alex Mitchell, looking for a 50. 22, McKenzie's back, covering once more. He's making a lot of metres all around the back at the moment for McKenzie. Steps through Mitchell's tackle attempt. Only 9 minutes remaining. Henry Bollocks says John there, converter try needed. Around the halfway line, Cortez Ratma, this looks like the New Zealanders are sending the ball high. Peter Larkai leading the chase alongside Leicester Whainaunuku, who makes the tackle in the air. Poor from Leicester and the penalty to England. I'm not sure why the Kiwis were looking for that aerial battle at the stage of the contest. They needed as much possession as physically possible, even if they were around the halfway line. Now we have got there, the score reminds me of South Africa versus France in 2023. Says Bovanga. And Leicester is choking, says Yareeds. Yeah, he's had a bit of a rough game. Leicester Whainaunuku. I know you're not supposed to say anything bad about him, or at least any time I have in the past, you get a very, very big amount of stick, but he hasn't controlled this game at all. Out on the wing and taking out a player in the air, just not a smart move from Leicester Whainaunuku. Damian McKenzie might do it again, says Peter. England has got this, says Stephen H. And a better at centre Leicester, says Graggle. Yeah, but then that question is defensively. Do they want a guy in the centres missing 7 tackles a match? Stay composed, New Zealand. Hamish, you guys, I need to clean up the feed. Too many trolls, says Jan. And we're on the field today now. It is going to be the English penalty 40 metres out. In fact, a little bit closer to their own line, about 30 metres out from their own line here. Kenyon here for England, says Alan. 3 minutes remaining of the Ben Earl yellow card. If they can get through this period without conceding, I would say they should go on to win this game. A good point, says Gregor there. And also get down to the wire for the AB, says John in there too. And England, says Shane. George Ford ready to kick this one into touch. If this goes over, it's over, although that's too far out for being able to take a kick at the post. Come on, New Zealand, says Michael in there too. That one does go into touch from George Ford. And even if England can get themselves that penalty advantage, like I mentioned, England's lineout has been a bit rough today. 50% accuracy. How's Proctor going? He's actually had one of his better games in an All Blacks kit. It was strong defensively in the important moments for the Kiwis. Worked nicely with Quinn Tupaia. But I can just tell right now, people who haven't watched the game will straight away say Proctor was the problem because they don't like him as an outside centre. Now we have got there, come on the ABs, don't lose to the smelly Poms. And now kicked him behind. Going up for miscommunication there. And it's going to be knocked on by England. Bit of a lifeline for New Zealand as they did have no one going up for it. Come on, England, I can't watch, going to sit on the toilet. Says Matt there, I love you, England, says Shane there. Hamish, I told you, England the best team in the world, says Kevin. And Ben Earl, another cheat, says John. We see it there, Tom Roebuck just trying to knock that one backwards, but in the end, knocking it on. And come on the All Blacks, come on the All Blacks. Says Native and Bevan there too. England rough lineouts, New Zealand rough scrummage. Yeah, it's been neither side dominating in the set piece, has it? It's kind of been split between the two different types. Ben Spencer to make his way on. That is for the last 8 minutes of this contest, replacing Alex Mitchell. I've never seen All Blacks score a drop goal, says Pavanga there. And England are tired now, says Katurv. I think whatever England are feeling tiredness-wise, the Kiwis will be feeling it as well. Can't believe the Kiwis are trailing England. And also, great commentary, mate, says Vestal. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. New Zealand 10 metres out from their own line at the moment with this scrum feed. And they do need a penalty here, I would say, just to get out of their own area, work their way downfield. And AB's looking bad, says Mashihu. And New Zealand a bang average, says Stephen. Yeah, they started this match well. 2 tries back to back. And then from there, completely silent for New Zealand. But somewhere that they have been improving in their game has been their last 20 minutes. That's a big push from Tamaiti Williams. Henry Pollock timing the tackle on Cortez Ratama. Very nice work. But it stays on the side of the Kiwis. Too late for drop goals. Need to convert a try, says John. And currently New Zealand are only 5 metres out from their own line. Forward masterclass needed, says Editor. Yeah, those extra 2 drop kicks. Had it not been for those, this game would be sitting 19-19. So it was great decision-making from England early on. And it's a decent clearing kick from New Zealand, relieving some pressure, but only about 30 metres out from their own line. And we'll have to now defend. No yellow, what the F, says Johan. And he's unlucky, or the effing poor ref, says Johan. And also, where's Farrell when you need him, says John Mills. And also, we have got there, stay focused, England, says Steve. Yeah, closing in on what would be a massive victory for this English side. Just the 6.5 minutes left to stay in the lead. They're in a good position on the field too. So winning a penalty advantage may just about do it for them in this match. Wish I could watch this, says Steve. I'm hoping that they will have a replay somewhere available. If you're in New Zealand, you can actually watch on the TAB for free. That one, All Blacks throwing a man across, penalty advantage for the English now. Now Ben Spencer. Oh, they have decided to take that penalty straight away. This should be George Ford's time. Scott Barrett shaking his head. He is not happy at all with how this one has gone. But this should almost be the kick that wins the game for the English if George Ford does want to go for it. Leicester was killing it at centre without Scotland win. Where'd that go? It wasn't broke to pie in Leicester, but Robinson decided to try and fix it again. So he's starting it. And to Billy Proctor's credit, I think he's done very well in this matchup. I have to see how many missed tackles Whainarnuku's had out on that wing as opposed to when he was playing outside centre. Because, of course, it's all well and good having a great player on attack, but you do need that defence as well. And that is where Leicester, wherever they play him, they need to play him consistently there so that he can work on that defence. We saw him up against the Barbarians, or for the Barbarians up against the Box. He also missed about 5 or 6 tackles in that game. So it's a bit of a concerning stat at the moment for Leicester Whainarnuku, but outside of that, very handy player. Why do you look happy? New Zealand are losing, says Everything Gaming. Well, it's probably better than me sitting here on the live stream going, oh no. You know, it's rugby. At the end of the day, it's unpredictable. And at the moment, the only predictable part has been that New Zealand will make mistakes throughout this 80 minutes. But George Ford, it does look like they are going to line up the 3 points here. Come on, England, says Ben. And we have a great team until Scott Barrett came back into the fray, says Alejandra. Although either way, I think we would have seen Barrett back anyway because of the fact that Fabian Holland out late. And tell you what, that's made a big difference for the Kiwis. A beautiful game, even when we hate it, says Ryan. And for too much pressure. And come on, England, says Steve. And there's Hamish looks happy because he simply loves rugby, says Marcus there. And good for rugby if England wins, says Avzil. Yeah, they will move up to 3rd in the overall ranking. So a different World Cup draw could be on the cards here. Puts a bit more pressure on Ireland for their next contest too. And we have got there the new English delicacy, tea and kiwi on toast. Sounds like an awful combination though, doesn't it? Tea and kiwi on toast. I assume you're talking about the bird or the fruit. Either way, that's even tea on toast. Like, I get dipping toast into, like, soup. But, like, pouring tea on a bit of toast would be a bit rough, wouldn't it? George Ford, ready to line up this one. Score, please. At the moment, England are looking to make this 28 points to 19. Good for rugby, but not good for New Zealand. And this kick now does go over from George Ford. And that is going to make the score 28 points to 19. That should almost be enough unless New Zealand get themselves some form of 3 points in the next maybe 2 or 3 minutes. That would be the only way for them to be able to fire back. I don't know how, but All Blacks will win this one, says weird balls. And also we have got there, no, we hate the way the Poms play rugby, says John. And rugby without drama is not rugby, says Bavanga there. It's going to be kicked off short by New Zealand. Nicely, taken by Dingwall after a bit of a juggle of the possession. Now Ben Spencer passes back across to Amaro Atoje. Will Jordan, bit of hustle there in the breakdown, trying to get the steal, but they can't quite get the ball, the All Blacks. And now Alex Mitchell will look to go high again. The crowd starting to make some more noise too here. Waiting for this one to land. Leroy Carter smashed in the tackle by Tom Curry. Cortez Ratama looking off to the left-hand side. Peter Larkai trying to bump off the challenge of Will Stewart. They're currently sitting 4 minutes remaining on the clock, New Zealand, and 35 metres out from their try line. Great to see George Ford getting his recognition. He's had a very good game in that 10 jersey. Controlled the tempo. Mitchell's also done a lot from that number 9 jersey. And Troy Roebuck says DG, so that's another spoil one from DG, just to add to the list of every single try in this contest. But now Lester Whainarnuku. Let's go to ground. Cortez Ratama. Back across Sam Derry. He pops it in behind. It's a loose ball. Kick forward from Henry Pollock. Grubbers it out wide. Taken by Roebuck. And it is still going to be the try. DG gets himself the timeout, because it's just been every single try being spoiled. Springboks are bad. They just won. That is more than what we are seeing from the Kiwis. Out swing low, says Big Rig there, but that is going to make the score 33 points to 19. Now we have got there, Henry Pollock's just done the ears and given it a little bit of that to the crowd as well. He is absolutely loving it. It will be his first victory over the All Blacks. And ouch for the rankings. True. At the moment, 14 points difference. If this kick goes over from George Ford, New Zealand will take an extra minus 0.5 in the overall rankings. And get in there, England. Swing low indeed. And also, Sheesh says Nars Williams, and well done to England there. And DMGG says the AI underdog pick this weekend did not happen. Yes, this team simply is not good enough. I told you New Zealand were not up for it, Hamish. Where'd that go? Up to scratch anymore. I should try soccer instead. Says, right, that kick has missed away to the side, so that means for now New Zealand's ranking does not get hugely hit. We have got there, Hamish, we need an emergency, where'd that go? Emergency meeting live stream discussing the All Blacks. Says Hano in there as well. What we will be doing straight after this one, though, is the post-match reviews of both of these games that we have seen. Thanks for coming, the All Blacks. Says Richard there, and nicely taken by Ben Earl. Back out on the field after his yellow card. Nice tackle, mate, by Scott Barrett, but 2 minutes remaining. And they can look to just close out this contest. It was obvious from the start, New Zealand were going to lose. No Holland Proctor starting, Whainarnuku on the wing. See, the thing is, though, I thought Billy Proctor had a decent game in the number 13 jersey. I think that the thing that hurt the Kiwis right from the get-go was Beauden Barrett having one of his worst games we've seen in probably the last 5 years. And the fact that even though he was having his worst game, they kept him out there for a good 55 minutes. On the Island match, we are going to be doing it on the channel, but that game will be covered by Rugby Itch, and I will be doing the Fiji versus France matchup. There's still a whole 2 minutes left. Now ready to throw this one in for Samasoni Tolkiaho. Proctor played well. It was Beauden who screwed us, says Scrotimus. And the sad reality is people are going to blame Billy Proctor completely for this loss. I'd like to think they won't, but it could happen. We're going to hear all about it throughout the next week too. And Beauden better at fullback. Beauden better at the moment not on the field for New Zealand. He has been out of form for a while, but they kind of persist with picking him. Now Lester Whainarnuku running it forward down the wing. Did score himself the first try of the contest. Now McKenzie goes back. Peter Larkai. Another step from Anton Leonard-Brown. And both Barrett's, Leroy Carter, Anton Leonard-Brown got to go. Says Sonny there, and that is going to be another penalty to New Zealand. They take the tap quickly. Sam Derry. In fact, this time it is McKenzie. Great offload. Here comes Billy Proctor, where he is tackled by Henry Pollock. Now Ratama back across. New Zealand playing for pride here. If they get themselves one more try, they could lose by the 7 points. Sure, a sackable offence for Razor. Well, it's the third loss of the year. It was the game that looked like the most debatable one for the Kiwis. There's going to be an advantage now for White offside here. And that's going to be another penalty going the way of the New Zealanders. Brilliant game. I'm Welsh and I'm crying, says John. And well done, England from a Bok fan. And it could have had a real bad game to Sonny. You can't predict the future, says Scrotimus. And also, anyway, it's just a game, says Sonny there. But now McKenzie kicking this one into touch. The English crowd singing like they were right from the start of this contest, like they were on the Haka. They knew something that perhaps the All Blacks didn't. That is that this POM squad, certainly the real deal. 10 wins in a row now. They have ticked over victories over New Zealand, Australia, France, Scotland. The list goes on. Argentina twice. Nobody wanted the English to win. I'm sure the English wanted the English to win in this matchup. And now, what does Scott Robertson do next week? Does he go with this similar side to say right those wrongs, or does he go experimental like perhaps he should have been earlier on? That one kicked dead by England, and they win this contest by the 14 points, 33 points to 19. The denial of the All Blacks Grand Slam, and England continue their streak and a half. Too many injuries, too many bad decisions. Says Tama there, the Grand Slam is gone. Says Sakile. And also fair play to the Red Roses. Says Vuyo there. And All Blacks Grand Slam say goodbye. No, goodbye. Says Haino there, and well done England. Says Dion, and this is not what I expected. Says Ruby, and too many injuries. Says Sanelli. Who's your injuries? I assume you're talking Fabian Holland because he is out. Is your injury Geordie Barrett or Tupove? Which guy are you saying was the main reason New Zealand lost? Caleb Clark, maybe, for his concussion. And Palmer goodbye, ABs. Says Alan Tronic. And also, never mind New Zealand. Might still beat Wales if they bring their A game and creates England. I never had a doubt. Says Shane Funnermerva. And great job, mate, positive. And also, the English are a disgrace. I mean, they just won a 10-match winning streak. It's pretty handy. That's why you don't put trust in a man. That's why you never put trust in a man. You'll get disappointed. And also, the referee cost us a game. He just didn't, though. Like, that one that England's try got disallowed for easily could have been left to be a try in that scenario, and England could have won this game by more points. Best. And also, his pull-up good. He had a solid game off the bench. He made a bit of an impact. And good job, Hamish. Always a fire commentary. Says John there in 10 matches. Who do they beat, Hamish? That streak is bad. So they beat Argentina twice. They beat New Zealand, Australia, Scotland, France, Wales, USA, and Italy. That's the 10 matches that they're on at the moment. So bias refs comments won't go far. And also we have got there, what's the problem with the AB's coach? I think they just went into this game. For one, they needed some rotation before this matchup and they didn't use it. And also alongside that, they just looked like the worst team out there on the field. They had no sort of conviction when they were on attack. England played their high ball game perfectly throughout the early stages, and New Zealand seemed hesitant. I'm sorry, gents, hard luck. And England is strong. And get rid of the Barrett sisters, says Hartley. And also we have got their all bad teams. Box beat France with 14 men. I assume that you were trying to find a way of including the Springboks in the English winning streak that they're on. But if it's still going at the time that they play South Africa, hopefully next year, then you'll be able to say that they were able to end it. England lost to Ireland barely, won France, and Scotland with 1 point. Says you guys. And still 10 matches being put together by this English team. You can see that the commentators, or the New Zealand panel, they aren't happy at the moment with this loss. Well done, England. Awesome win. Razor is useless, stubborn, and never manages player workload or skill set. Well, the result for English, or for England. Explain how you get a yellow card after one penalty, says Kiwi Rob. They obviously ruled it as cynical enough. Drop Carter and Proctor. See, I don't know whether or not this is just me, but I thought Proctor had a solid enough game here. I get maybe Carter because he was a bit rough around the edges for this game. But Billy Proctor, I think, probably had one of his better games in an All Blacks kit. But he gets all the blame. Why are we not talking about Beauden Barrett and the fact that he had an absolute shocker from the number 10 jersey? The All Blacks missed touch twice from Beauden Barrett's kicks. He also did nothing on attack throughout the game. The first cross kick from Damian McKenzie worked for New Zealand. The 3 that Beauden tried, none of them came off. Why is it Billy Proctor getting the blame in this scenario? Ball hardly got to him because there was incompetency in that 9 and 10 channel at times for cohesion. Drop Carter Proctor, says BP. Listening with the Changs from Thailand. Perfect. Next it's boxing, says David there. I can't play it, then you don't know anything, says Kiwi Rob. And Barrett's kicks were shocking. How does this affect the world rankings? So England get themselves up to third, and Ireland can still go up to third place again. No issue with Proctor, Bowden, Barrett, Cardinal, Sin. Missing touch on a penalty. And line out a scrum for the ABs. Where'd that go? For the ABs, disappointing for such a top team. And why is Barrett still playing? He's played 149 games. He's done, says Cameron Kay, and Ford man of the match. Yeah, I think George Ford had an immaculate game in that 10 jersey. Alongside him, you know, you look through at other guys who did really step up. Alex Mitchell, I feel like he did a lot right throughout this match. We saw Ollie Lawrence have some good moments. Dingwall, he was solid. It's not Proctor's fault, says Sam Wilson. Are you anti-Bowden Barrett, Hamish? I am anti-players being selected when they don't deserve to be in a starting lineup of form. And unfortunately, it was bound to happen at some point, and it's finally happened that the poor choice has backfired. Razor should step down, says Jeff J. Nepotism in the AB's rugby's Hamish, says John Mills. Bowden Barrett was poor, and we still suck in the air, says Chantel. And New Zealand dominance is dead, RIP, says Xavier. And also, who got man of the match for the Springboks? Ooh, I'm not actually too sure who got the man of the match performance in that game. And Proctor hasn't had a good game yet. See, I would call this Proctor's good game. But once again, you were calling out Proctor and Carter, but not Barrett, where the ball had to go through to get to those two. And grand slammed. Says Vinesh there, and Jordan was awful as well. Every time he carries, it's a turnover. Says Freshman, yeah, he makes a lot of meters for New Zealand, but there was a lack of protection in terms of that breakdown. In England, that big moment, I think, that helped them win this game was when New Zealand were 5 meters out on attack, and the turnover happened. That was a massive counter-ruck from England, a game-changing one there. Will you be doing the Wales game, Hamish? We absolutely... Oh, sorry, Wales-Japan? No, because we are going to be doing the review of both of these two matches. But then after that, we're back for that Fiji versus France, as well as Ireland versus Australia game. Proctor gets so much hate. It's easy to blame an outside centre. Look at Rico. He got all of the blame for New Zealand being poor for 2 years. It was just his fault. We have got absolute mud. All Blacks, says Reflecting Trees. Damien Valimza got man of the match, and you predicted England by 2+. Well, says Ramo there. And it looked like it was good. Like, England up to 28. I thought, yep, perfect, because that's how many I said they'd get. I just needed New Zealand to get a converted try at the end. But then, unfortunately, just like the rest of the game, it slipped through the fingers for the Kiwis. But nonetheless, ladies and gents, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We have got 2 review videos coming out on the channel, hopefully within the next, I'd say, hour and a half or so. If you did enjoy the live stream, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. 2 more taking place later on for streams. So be sure to check those out, and I will see you all for the next one.